Ah, peace, tranquility. A little Hoya Paranoia tonight, HurleyMania.
I gotta know about the I gotta know about the music options. I love the new feature, but I I actually should have started my fire for that. That was beautiful fireside music.
I figured everybody kind of needed a little chill music after that. Just a little quiet time, take in a little relaxing sounds, clear the mind, take a few deep breaths. I was like looking for a Zen option, but they didn't have that, so I figured a little lounge lizard music would be good. Just sitting by yourself at the end of a bar, downing a bottle of whiskey after almost dropping a game to the fucking terrible Georgetown Hoyas, but we were due.
I feel like every other music option must be loud techno based on everything we know about how this platform is run. So, good music choice for many reasons, including those that you mentioned. A lot of people, folks, I tried. I am not right about many things. I tried to warn everyone. I tried to warn everyone that this is the situation when these sorts of weird things happen. And then, 10 minutes into this, or not even 10, because I'll get to that in a minute. 5 minutes into the second half, everybody losing their minds. Absolutely panicking, melting down online with 15 minutes left against one of the worst teams in Big East history. And there are nights where that can happen. It probably will to this team at some point, but against a team like that, the sixth guy can go off, and that's why everybody needs to calm down. If you haven't seen Dan Hurley's post-game press conference because you were busy meditating, doing hot balls yoga, he is absolutely thrilled that this happened tonight. He has said it's great because
I haven't seen him smile that much in an interview all year. He's got a smile ear to ear the whole entire press conference.
A lot of adversity tonight, but none of it actual danger. It's kind of the best way you can get it. And I don't mean any disrespect to our Georgetown friends like Armin who are here, because the Hoyas, look, it's not a personnel issue at Georgetown. Incredibly talented. A Cook looked phenomenal. Primo Spears for a while looked great. And then two things happened. One, for some reason, I think because of it being Georgetown and the team UConn being so deep and just assuming things would normalize, this is why they waited so long. But 30 minutes in, they decided to put the best wing defender in college basketball on Primo Spears. I mean, didn't have to wait 30 minutes to do that, but they did. And then Joey California went nuclear. That's pretty much it.
Well, the adjustments seem to be putting Jackson on Primo, having Hassan Diarra out there, and then Joey Calcaterra just lost his mind. Like, legitimately lost his mind. The two plays, the two big plays, the behind-the-back pass to Donovan today, the one-handed lay-in, those are like nuclear-grade plays. Like, I can't believe I watched that. Like, I'm going to probably spend a solid half an hour just watching them on a loop tomorrow after that. It was wild.
It's two parts. It's not just the finish. It's that it was an Adama high-low to Joey Calcaterra, which, not a play I think anybody saw coming this season, and a season of a lot of things we didn't expect. And then Joey just, I wouldn't say he went up and got it. He went up and continued it, I guess. And yeah, no, that was pretty stupid. That was pretty stupid. And as much as Gampel was kind of out of it all night, which I'm not upset about, I know some people are. I think if you were there, how could you not be completely freaked the fuck out by what was happening? That kind of lit a torch, though, watching that. And at that point, I think, and I'll bring Armin in. I mean, that was kind of when you knew it was for us. It was going to be all right.
It was going to be all right. 5 minutes into the game. By the way, everyone was
Yes,
everyone was chirping me when I put out a tweet saying that like I wasn't worried, and then like every minute that like we were playing like crap, someone else would tweet back at me like being like, "Oh, you nervous now? You nervous now?"
No, they were down 10 with 15 minutes to go.
This is nothing against Georgetown, but with this team, I just never had any fear.
Part of it's scale. They haven't been behind in the second half, but Jesus, the amount of ammo that people were unloading was pretty unbecoming. Armin, was there any point at which you actually like started to think maybe?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
It was never going to happen, and I knew that. But look, when you've seen the things I've seen,
yeah, you've seen some shit.
At a certain point, like I'll tell you, the blueprint for Georgetown games this entire year has been play really well in the first half, right? Because you have that talent, play really well in the first half, get some kind of lead or some kind of just flow going. And then once these guys hit that point where, I mean, we can all agree that a basketball player, no matter how well conditioned you are, should not be playing more than 25 minutes a night. And they hit that wall and it just goes all downhill in the second half. And when they made that run at the beginning of the second, I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe there's a chance here because they were hitting their shots. Primo was finding ways to, be primo, and they weren't being absolute idiots, which they have in the past. And I mean, like, I was not surprised at all when the little Italian man just started to go berserk on us.
Yeah, that had to be pretty galling. Like, of all the guys, really, that was kind of.
I'll take you back. The Dartmouth game last year, first game of the season. This guy, I don't even remember his first name, but I think it's Cornish or something like that on Dartmouth. Literally was the sixth player, off the bench and went off. And I mean, it was so Georgetown. He beat us single-handedly. And I was just not surprised that this little white guy from UConn comes off the bench and torches us.
Yeah, it was. I'll say this. There were times tonight when I saw why you all need Patrick out. Like, for him to like try and nurse the under-8 timeout 5 possessions too long was pretty startling.
I mean, I'll put it this way. If he found ways to rest his starters in the first 30 minutes of that game, it would have been a completely different game. But I think they just completely lost their energy, and that leads to losing your composure. And, I mean, at the end of the day, UConn is the better basketball team. Hurley is the better coach, and that showed. It was just okay, on Georgetown Twitter, we were kind of all collectively thinking, oh, this could happen about 5 minutes into the second half. And not a single soul was surprised. It is just Georgetown basketball.
Yeah, and
in fairness to Georgetown, this is what this team does to everyone. Like, eventually, like, it's not a surprise that the big run happened when they brought their extremely fresh, extremely talented bench in. Like, you're bringing in Joey Calcaterra and Donovan Clingan off the bench who are just going to run up and down the court, and, like, everyone else is tired on Georgetown. They're all tired then. And, like, that's the plan. That's why Hurley does. This happens every game. And eventually, Armin, the other team is exhausted.
It's the most. Go ahead. It's the most predictable substitution pattern on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Like, he does it every game. Like,
and it's the worst It's the worst substitution pattern at the same time. Like, the man brought in Malcolm Wilson. He brought in Malcolm.
Is he the guy who just joined the team?
I'm talking about Hurley.
Like, Hurley. I mean,
he does the same thing every game. So right around 12 to 14 minutes, somewhere in there, Adama gets a break until about 6 to 8 minutes. And that's when you see teams start to really kind of suck wind.
And tonight he pulled Adama and Caravan, who was not good. And
Alex.
and I think he even gave Andre a breather there. That was what was a little different.
He
Malcolm
had
Wilson,
some foul
who does not
trouble
even
there.
have Malcolm Wilson, who does not have a profile on Ken Palm. And by the way, Armin, shout out your guy, Jordan Riley, got 2 minutes tonight.
Yeah, he had that offensive foul, which was a bad foul on his part, and then he just got pulled immediately. I mean, like, those are the kinds of players that could, in theory, give you 10 minutes a game, and Patrick Ewing was just scared to play him. But, like, Malcolm Wilson was the big one. He was on the team for the last, what was it now? Would it be 3 years? Yeah, last 3 years. And this year he was made a manager at the beginning of the season because they had the scholarship crunch. And I guess, like, what I was thinking was, you know, he was probably practicing with the team and they were just using it to kind of give him a scholarship of some sort. And once Dante Harris transferred, Malcolm Wilson is right back and he is right in there instead of our more talented bigs like Ryan Mutombo or Bradley Azawiro didn't get the call for some reason, who, I mean, he's not amazing, but he's serviceable. But nope. All of 6'1", 160-pound Malcolm Wilson is in here getting minutes against, the two-headed monster. And I know Sonogo wasn't in there when he was in, but, like, he was getting minutes against UConn. Like, disgusting, if you ask me.
And we saw tonight why it's so like that. I know you only have 6 guys for the stupid reasons we just discussed, but, like, those 6 guys are better than, I would say, at least. There's no way that's the worst 6 anybody in this league's got.
No.
There is talent there. A Cook was great tonight.
Oh my God, Providence!
He was so good. Qudus Wahab is good. I like, as much as I want to dunk on Dopey Tim Brando we love Raph, but doing the whole, they're going to win games this year. Like, I can't see them going winless. There's too much talent there, and it's what makes the whole thing so fucking weird.
Look, it's going to work once. But, what I really want to talk about was, how about a Cook? I mean, he was kind of nowhere in the second half, but, geez, those first couple of minutes with his dunks.
He's a little charged up tonight to you?
Yeah, just a little bit. And the shit talk was there. It really made me a little happy.
Yeah, Andre getting a technical, that confrontation, like, they wouldn't even have let you bet that as a future. That was so obviously going to happen.
For the record, taunting should not be a technical. You should be able to taunt whenever you want.
Absolutely.
You should get free throws for it.
Yeah.
Is CBS Sports Network where this Marquette disaster is? Okay, I'm turning it on.
Marquette and Providence are tied with 89. Providence ball, 5 seconds to go. Providence just blew. They've both blown 8-point leads with a minute and a half.
Oh my God.
And then Marquette had blown. They'd gone like scoreless for like the last like 2 or 3 minutes of that game. They were up 8 with like 2 minutes left. So it's just been back-to-back chokes.
Up 8, and they just blew it in overtime. So it's tied.
Providence was up like 15 early. This game has been apparently wild. I thought I would see more of it than I had. By the way, Providence is wearing the fucking. I don't even know how to describe what they're wearing. It's bad. These jerseys, very bad.
Oh, no good. All right, double
what
OT.
the hell? Why are you giving the ball to Breed?
I don't know. I don't know who's really behind.
I am, but it's fine. I really thought he was going to fall over to begin the play. So the fact that they got to look at the hoop is a fucking victory.
Give
Armin,
an emoji. Give an emoji
sorry.
here if anyone else is sweating out the Marquette plus 1.5 with me here. Let's see who else is having some fun on this Tuesday night here.
How do you hate yourself that much to get on this game? This game was an all-time stay away, Jared. What are you doing?
There we go, Mac. I like it. I saw his in there. Plus 1.5. We still got time here.
Yeah, but I mean, your guys there's talent there. A Cook looked great for the first 10 minutes. There was a history between him and Andre. I love that after Andre got the dunk, immediately the next out-of-bounds play on the other end, Georgetown ran a flash play to try and get a Cook to dunk right on Andre Jackson. It didn't work. That's what college basketball is about, being petty. I love
Hey, Armin, is a Cook, and it seems like just from like kind of looking at the stats, it seems like he gives you guys like a good like 10 minutes a game. Is that how it's been, like how he's been tonight, where like you get a few good minutes here and there from him, but it's not consistent throughout?
He started the season really well, and granted they were playing really bad opponents, right? But like he has been really like decent defensively for most of these games across the board, he's been good defensively, and it's just the offensive production has been what's been hit or miss. It's like he'll give you these games where he'll have 3 or 4 blocks, and you'll hear it in these post game press conferences. These opposing coaches, after, they'll find ways to run us off the court. It's like we had to plan against going inside against the Cook, not even Qudus Wahab, who's a decent rim protector, but
Yeah.
it's a cook is what these guys are really planning for, and he'll bring it on defense. But he's had some really nice offensive nights, but for the most part, I think it's been you'll get a couple of good runs out of him, and for the rest of it, he's there. He'll contribute. He's not a bad fifth option to have on the floor for what he gives you defensively.
It seems like he's either giving you like a couple corner threes or maybe you get a dunk or two out of him a night.
Yeah, that's basically what it's been. But I don't think his role on this team, because they have so many scorers,
needs to be much more than that. Yeah,
I mean, you saw it tonight. You get, Primo is Primo. Brendan Murray had a horrible game tonight, and that's really, I think, what ended up costing them at the end is just Brendan Murray was being an idiot. And you have Brendan Murray who can score. You have Jay Heath who can score. You have Qudus who can, he's hit or miss as well, but like on his good nights, he's very good. And a Cook is just there to kind of anchor the defense.
I feel like Hartford Zone Primo Spears apparently had quite the cheering section Gampel today. Unsurprising.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a nice night.
Yeah,
he played well.
I was going to pull it up because
until Hassan Diarra came in, and I kind of wish he brought him in earlier because I felt like that was a great matchup, and Hassan really did start to help disrupt things. So, but it was he did have a nice night. So congrats to Primo on his little homecoming game.
I'm trying to filter on the play-by-play Primo's second half because I feel like he closed pretty cold.
I feel like there was one play where he bricked a 3 and then we went down and scored, and that's where I felt like this is kind of game over there.
You know what? He's not a shooter, and late game like that, he tries to create threes and he can hit them, but he's not by any means someone you want shooting from out there. And I think he kind of felt everyone was tired and he needed to walk down and make a 3. So, he tried and, of course, gloriously failed, as Georgetown players usually do.
Yeah, I think outside of this game, I think everyone here is rooting for the kid because I know he's been through a lot with his elbow and all that stuff. So,
well, speaking of that, did everybody, the UConn fans, did we all enjoy our little Lion King no moment when Cook blocked Jordan and Jordan stayed down and a Cook was helping him up? And that terrifying 15-second sequence.
Yeah.
Dude, he absolutely body bagged Jordan.
I saw a lot of people asking for a foul on that. I thought that was just a great defensive play. I haven't looked again.
Oh, it was all ball, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, that was like Bane breaking Batman's back, dude. That was fucking brutal.
That was Armin, the perfect welcome back to Stores.
Yeah, Armin, he used to do that, not every game, but because he didn't play enough, but he has that in him, and it's incredible. And it was a wild,
but against
moment.
the American Conference, the American Athletic Conference.
He did it to Memphis once.
Oh, come on.
They're competent adjacent.
We spoke about this last night. We'll talk big about them once they learn how to read.
Well, the fun thing was I had bought courtside tickets for that game preseason, assuming James Wiseman would play, and no. But that was – and then Cook's knee, their Achilles blows up. But, yeah, no, it was HotBalls. I think it was also a night where finally Donovan Clingan and Alex Caravan looked like freshmen. And the fact that it took this long is a good sign. But, yeah, they weren't great.
Donovan had some moments tonight, but man, oh man, Alex was bad tonight. Blowing a lot. I mean, he was a revolving door defensively. Not very helpful, and just so many wide open looks that he clanged tonight. Not the norm for him, but was due to have one of those. So
yeah, it's part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I think the thing is I'm kind of happy that things sort of went the way that they did tonight, because everybody had to figure it the fuck out. right? And I want to kind of give a tip of the cap to Coach Hurley, too, on top of it for, like, when he finally found the button that worked, he just kept spamming it and left Diarra on the floor and left Jackson out there and just kind of ran with it. So, I mean, look, man, I think the thing is, like, we saw some of the same stuff, where our depth starts to catch up to teams after a while. We could just run so many fresh guys out there that can be effective. But we saw some adjustments from the coaching staff, too, because this was not a game that I think went according to plan even a little bit. And, the other big thing that was kind of a new first for this team was getting muscled around on the boards.
Yeah, that's
not something that's happened all year.
Well, yeah, the first half, Georgetown's hitting everything, so there's not going to be a lot of rebounds. But on the other end, getting killed at UConn, when Sonogo had the putback, they didn't get an offensive rebound until they were in the last 10 minutes, I want to say, which was pretty incredible because it wasn't like UConn did not have offensive rebound opportunities with the way they were shooting. And it's a credit to Georgetown. They figured something out that I think a lot of teams that are better than Georgetown, but maybe not as big, are going to look at on tape. And I thought actually UConn's best player in the paint tonight, oddly enough, was Jordan Hawkins, which is kind of due to how Adama was not great.
I don't think Georgetown figures things out. I think they just kind of stumble upon the right answer every now and then. So I think you're giving Pat Beal a little too much credit there.
Well, they had some really quick athletic guards, but the other thing is, don't forget too, Adama and Donovan had a nasty clash yesterday in practice that resulted in
stitches,
them being sewed back together. So both of them looked, like had a little wear and tear on the old tire tread. So,
and speaking of, I want to give a shout out to Bill, who's in here. Bill's back home, Bill Klingen, which is awesome. That's the best news of the night, no matter what.
He's resting up for Nova. We like it.
Yeah. The other thing, and I guess I'll ask Meghan this, UConn, or if Penfield wants to jump in too. As great, Joey's the show and all that, but Tristan Newton, man, just when nothing was working, going inside and getting the crap beat out of him and going to the line over and over and over again.
He sure is like old reliable there. Like just run, go into the lane, throw himself at somebody, and then he gets to the line. He's really, really, really good at getting. He might be the best at getting out, like going to the hoop and getting fouled since like.
Can I ask though, UConn folks? Like he only scored 4 points in the second half. Like their run was with him off the court for the most part. It was with Diarra and I think Naheem Aline. Like what was up with that?
I don't think they need him to be the big time scorer. He kind of carried him in the first half. What do you have, like 13 or 15 points in the first half?
He had 13.
Yeah, so I think he's a guy who came in with like that shooter's mentality, and I think that's what everyone thought of him. But I think he showed he's just a really effective point guard. I think he had like 7 assists in the first half too. He had a really good all around game. Yeah, a little weird that that run came without him, but I don't think too much of a dig at him today.
Yeah, and
hey, HurleyMania, is that your TV, dude?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. You're like my grandmother-in-law. She used to watch Law and Order so loud you could hear it down the street.
We don't want to have to listen to Steve Lapis any more than we have to.
Yeah, that runs in my family. I am going to be absolutely deaf.
Oh, there we go.
At most 55, if I make it that far. I'm about to actually jump off for a couple minutes because I'm having a gigantic steak. So I'm big into heart attacks tonight. Why is the Providence guys...
a steak at 9:40? Jeez.
Yeah, well, we couldn't cook because the game was weird. Providence guys falling over in the paint. I guess they didn't fix the leaks. So
that didn't come with the naming rights deal.
I went on a cooking fit the other night. I had decided at like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, I haven't cooked some Cajun pasta in a long time. So just kind of fired it up, carved up some sausages, threw a little chicken on there, some red onions, peppers, cream sauce. Amazing.
Jared, how many different times in overtime have you realized how stupid it was to bet on this game? I think we're at least 6.
Too many to count, yeah. But you know what? Just gonna take it and hold on for dear life here.
Providence should not be given free throws. That was such a stupid decision. It should not be called. That should not be allowed.
Was this the first game that UConn didn't cover?
Yes.
They had what was the Alabama? Yeah, Alabama wouldn't have been 10. So, yeah, I would think so.
I mean, I'm not going to say there's such a thing as moral victories, but
Oh,
I
you
will
should
take
take
that.
moral victories. Are you kidding me? The only
Nope.
people who are more furious than UConn fans with 10 minutes to go were the DePaul fans when they put up that graphic of the longest Big East losing streaks in history. And there are 2 DePaul streaks right there.
No, you know who's going to take that moral victory tonight is Jack Ajoya and the Georgetown administration. They're drafting the extension as we speak, so I'm sure we'll have
this
some.
game does help you if you want to do the protest at the UConn game because you get a little more juice of people going, we hung with them for 30 minutes. The problem is you play like 12 more games between now and then, but
that's what got me worried for you guys. I was like, man, if they win tonight, he's going to get another 5-year contract.
I mean, still, like, the result tonight is not great for those of us that are ready to move on. I mean, we needed like a 30-point blowout, so I am the result could have been better, but it's better than a win. So
we'll do it at your place for you guys.
Do it. I was
means.
gonna say this is a little bit of 4D chess on the part of Mr. Hurley.
By the way, Hilltop, is your vehicle okay? I was not involved with this vehicular incident or HotBalls.
What a disastrous day. I just had bad luck all day, and I knew that Georgetown, based on the bad luck I had today, I knew that Georgetown was going to be in this game because of how much bad luck I had already. So, the vehicle is it's okay, but the Stores trip was called off pretty early today, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I felt bad when I hope it goes okay for you in that regard. HotBalls, Joey's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was wild. I mean,
Bummer that you only have him for 1 year.
4-minute sequence was incredible.
Everybody online is yelling, why aren't they driving the lane? Why aren't they driving the lane? And who fucking does it of all the people? It's the 6-0 guy who is determined he is not going to sit on a plane later this week for 5 hours and think about losing to Georgetown, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the biggest thing. I mean, they're missing. I mean, we were getting good shots. We were just clanging everything, right? And so when you kind of get into that, like sometimes you want to get into a little bit more rhythm offense. And so, try to get some easy buckets, get some layups, drive to the hoop, run some backdoor cuts, like try to get yourself some easy baskets instead of, forcing threes. And eventually, will start to come to you, get a little momentum, and you start knocking down a couple of those timely threes, which we got down the stretch, particularly with them starting to get tired and worn out a little bit. So, look, I'm glad that we stepped on the gas when we did. Like, I can't even imagine what that would have done to our metrics had we lost that game at home. Holy fucking shit,
It
man.
would have been the funniest thing that ever happened. Like, I didn't want them to lose, obviously, but everyone was like, you made this happen about trailing in the second half. I was like, no, I didn't. Come on. This was obviously going to happen because it makes no sense because this sport is stupid. That's why we like it. But the other side of that means once in a while, you're going to have to deal with some dumb shit you can't explain. And for them to do that and win by 11 is pretty impressive. Still number 1 in Ken Palm, folks. Like,
HurleyMania. It's just like Temple beating Villanova and then losing to Maryland Eastern Shore tonight, right?
Thanks for that layup. Yeah, I mean, full 40 is not.
Villanova's non-con is taking a beating, by the way, the last couple of days.
Maryland Eastern Shore easily winning at Temple. I think. Well, did it go to OT? They won by like 6 or 7, but.
Hey, at least one DMV area team got a good win tonight. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, good news for everyone else. I'm going to dip out for 15 minutes to have a steak and maybe a heart attack, but I'll be back.
How do you have your steak cooked?
Medium at most.
Definitely a well done kind of guy.
No. I'm not. No, like 90% of Georgetown boosters would be that way. Okay, I'm not a well done steak guy.
Well, what kind of steak? How do you take your steak, Hurley?
Sorry, I'm getting questions. Method wise, we're talking cast iron, brown butter method. Although I've been going to the olive oil method more recently, and some garlic butter.
Smokier. You have medium guy, medium well. You're definitely a well done guy.
No, I'm not. Stop it. I'm not.
You're absolutely the most obvious well done guy. You char up that steak, you hockey puck it, you pick it up with your mittens,
No,
and you
see,
shove it
here's
right
why
in your
that
pie hole.
here's why that isn't true. I'm way too impatient to wait that long. That's why it doesn't work. The idea.
HurleyMania, do you like your steak well done?
No, I don't. I'm getting evil-eyed by my wife, who.
How do
Okay,
you like your steak done? Just answer the question, man. You can flee. You don't even have to take the
medium.
beating.
Oh my God, I'm leaving you guys.
A lot of dodging going on here.
Yeah, it's medium. Well, it's currently purple, so I have to go work on this. I'll be back.
It's got to go.
Did
well
everyone
done.
remember to buy their Joey C NIL T-shirts?
Yeah, I got the link is in my like one of my most recent tweets. They have amazing stuff that was just added. So
Is it bad if I want one too after that game?
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you could wear it to the big game in February.
Yeah.
No, the merch they have up on the NIL site gets better by the day. So
there is legitimately some great stuff up there. So
like, who does not want Joey on a surfboard in a shooting motion on a sweatshirt? I mean,
I'm curious how quickly did UConn get like a NIL merch shop up after NIL opened? Because Georgetown's still dragging its feet to an extreme degree.
It was not until the season had started.
Yeah,
which was I thought it was going to be up before that, but.
And so, like, the players get like how much of the proceeds? Like, do they get everything, or how does that work?
I don't think
they
we
get
know
whatever's on top of the sale, or like what it costs to make the shirt.
Interesting.
And I mean, some companies, so they probably take some percentage or whatever. But also in Connecticut, they couldn't do like any merchandise with like the school logos until this season. So last season there really wasn't a lot of stuff out there.
Got it. Yeah, because that was one of DeJoya's big things. That was one of his big excuses for why Ewing is struggling, is because of NIL. And it's just like, I mean, you've had plenty of time to get something up, and it's still an issue. Like, it's just pathetic.
Well, like, does Washington D.C. have to have their own rules about it? Because I think like every state does their own thing. So.
They have their own rules, I think, but from what I understand, it's nothing.
Yeah, they do because
stringent. Yeah,
I'm a GW alum, and they just started their own collective. I saw there, so I know you can in DC.
Yeah, it's another frustrating thing about rooting for this program.
Yeah, well, your president's not exactly a big fan of NIL and the transfer portal. Either. So I'm sure that's not a help.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm still trying to put myself together. It was a very up and down game. I was really kind of looking forward to tonight. Like, I was going to actually watch the game, kind of sidecar some other stuff. And I was like, man, I even signed off on it last night. So I said I was going to have a nice, easy going game tomorrow night. This is all my fault. I was like, we're only going to have like 4 more of these on the schedule. Whew.
Was that run in the second half the loudest that Gampel's been this season? That was pretty electric.
That was wild. Cameras were shaking.
I don't think it got that loud during the Oklahoma State game, so it probably is.
The Oklahoma State crowd was kind of it was up and down. We had that one big run at the end of the first half. They got it going. That was definitely, I think, the most Looney Tunes it's been since probably the Houston game, going back to the American Athletic Conference days that never happened. The last game before COVID, that was a pretty wild crowd.
Xavier game last year was pretty crazy.
I was just going to say the Xavier one last year was pretty good.
There was one person in particular that was pretty ridiculous. He got tossed. Then he was in the student section. I don't know. Some crazy fan.
Some guy.
Now, I have a question for you guys. After seeing this game and what Georgetown did to you guys, like, do the expectations kind of get lowered for Big East play? Do you guys think that, like, now games are going to be a lot more tight because Georgetown making it that close is not something that should have happened? And I think, at least I didn't think that this UConn team would really let this happen that much this year. But, like, could a team like, I don't know, Providence make these, games that UConn should win a lot closer?
I mean, look, we won another game by double digits. We've won fucking a zillion games in a row by double digits. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if
like,
I'm supposed to be disappointed with that. Like, I get it. Georgetown played us a little close, but like, I've also been watching 17 to 22-year-olds play college basketball for a really long time. And like, games like this just happen, right?
That felt
Like,
like a trap game. It was a trap game for you guys.
where they go out and shit's a little sloppy and they get a little too cute, and then things probably stay a little bit more tight than they need to, and coach is a little slow on the off because he's trying to figure shit out too. And like, one thing leads to another thing, and you drop a game that you absolutely shouldn't fucking lose whatsoever. They happen, so and we've absolutely bulldozed everybody. And what's even kind of crazier about it tonight is that's probably Georgetown's collectively their best offensive performance of the night. They shot something like 50 something percent. We weren't great on the boards. We didn't do anything that we normally do very well at all, and missed probably a billion open threes. And we won by 11 points. So like, and we kind of won the way, not to the degree, where we've run teams off the floor so far this year. But, again, it was another game that was kind of close and a little nip and tuck for a period of time there. You guys are the first team all season to have a lead on us in the second half at all. So, like, it was bound to happen eventually. So, I mean, I'm just at the point where I'm not, you guys gassed out, depth took over, coaching staff kind of figured it out, went on the big run, and were able to kind of stiff arm guys down the stretch. And so that's sort of how we've won. So, I mean, yeah, not the best night to have a night like tonight. And I think everybody certainly got a little nervous there for a little while, but, at the end of the day, I'm not particularly concerned with only winning by 11 points.
I think the biggest thing for you guys is, I mean, the depth really showed out tonight. I mean, I think that's going to carry. I mean, there's going to be games this season where you're going to have off nights like tonight, but when you can go to a Joey Calcaterra and get something like 14 or 15 points, whatever he had in the second half, like that's going to carry you in those moments. And the defense that you guys have is going to carry you in those off nights. So I think you should feel good coming out of this. I mean, it was obviously a trap game, and you guys you passed the test. So.
Yeah, I was happier seeing us win a close game. I was happy to see them kind of get, a little competition. I mean, really outside of the Alabama game, which was close for most of the game. I mean, we really haven't been in a tremendously competitive situation at any point in time this year, and it's kind of the only thing that they really haven't seen, and it's the only test they really haven't passed so far. So to see them kind of do that, I'm happy. Just any win is a good win, especially in conference play. Especially when you have that many guys that had off night. Like Adama was off tonight. Andre was a little off tonight. Jordan Hawkins felt a little off tonight. Alex Caravan had a bad night. Donovan had some moments, not great. Naheem Aline wasn't really a tremendous presence tonight. So, like, when you think about it, I mean, we had 5, 6, 7 guys in our rotation that didn't really play well, right? And so we still won by double digits because, and this has been kind of the story with us all year. It's like, when guys don't seemingly have a great game, there's just we have so many bullets in the chamber. They go 9 guys deep right now. I mean, we could go conceivably 10 once Samson Johnson's back. Like, there's so many guys you can go to. Somebody's going to figure it out. Like, all 10 of those players are not going to have a shitty night. And if you can get enough guys to kind of hold the floor and hold the line a little bit, and somebody steps up and kind of takes that leadership role, you're going to win a lot of college basketball games. And, tonight, we were kind of, during the Butler game, like Naheem Aline, been kind of in and out all season, has a big game. He's one of those guys that's kind of the sneaky contributor tonight. I mean, Joey California's been doing things a lot off the bench for us, but it was, Hassan Diarra coming in and playing some really good defense, mucking it up, right? Slowing that backcourt down and making it a little sloppy for them, speeding guys up, being stable with the basketball, hitting a couple timely shots. Like, there's just always a fucking guy every game. Like, the one thing we joke around about on this space all the time, it's our content is so fucking repetitive when it comes to the analysis of this team because It's just somebody else every night that figures it out and is like, oh no, don't worry about it. I got you for 8 to 10 points you don't expect, and play some lockdown defense, and we'll figure it out. And so that's been kind of the story of the season so far.
I think the next 7 are going to be really interesting, just kind of looking at the schedule for the next couple weeks. You get Nova next Wednesday. Plug for our live spaces we'll be doing afterwards, right next to the XL Center at the place called the CAF. We go Villanova, at Xavier, at Providence, home Creighton, at Marquette, home St. John's, at Seton Hall. I think that's a really interesting stretch you get over these next couple of weeks here. And I think you're going to learn a lot about this team over those few weeks there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the meat potato of the schedule. Potato of the schedule now. And, we've also got a fairly quick, we've got an 8-day layoff.
Yeah, which I hate. I hate that. We just had another like week layoff or whatever. Like what was it?
It was a week before the Butler game.
Yeah. So it's like we got 2 of those now. But yeah, now we're gonna get a lot of games crammed into a relatively short amount of time here.
Yeah, and like I said, the New Year's Eve one in Xavier's makes me a little nervous. That one's going to be tough, and they're all going to be tough. It's the Big East now, so this is the meat and potatoes of the schedule. We're going to find out just how good we are here. I think in the next 3 weeks, I think we're really good. But this is going to be the point where if somebody's going to get us, it's going to probably have to be in the next 2.5 weeks.
Is there a point, like if they lost a certain number of these 7, that you'd start to, get a little bit anxious? I mean, I think, it's almost impossible to go the season undefeated. But looking at this, like if they lost 2 of these 7 games, are you starting to get a little anxious?
No.
Yeah,
we're going to have to lose 2 to 4 games somewhere in there. Yeah. Like most number 1 seeds are like 2 to 4 lost teams.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. I mean, just based on some of the reactions I saw tonight in terms of like people starting to freak out a little bit, down 5 to Georgetown in the second half, just kind of tempering expectations a little bit. And, losses are most likely going to happen at some point. But, again,
I think we just we're trying to play for a 1 seed or 1 or 2, and it would be awesome to be in the East Regional. As long as, if they can do that, I don't really care how many losses they have along the way.
Yeah, no,
Right now, the primary competition in KenPom is UVA, and
who's getting pushed around right now?
Are they losing again?
Yeah, they're down 7 to Miami.
So that's kind of the primary competition for that number 1 seed in the East right now, and that pathway to Madison Square Garden. Again, knock on wood, but like, it's just one of those years where I think it's okay for fans to get really optimistic because it's on the table, man. Like Kentucky is way down. Like Duke just lost again tonight. Yeah. Like Duke is down. Like a lot of the traditional heavy hitters not having great years. There really hasn't, Virginia, they can really defend, but they're not the best offensive team on planet Earth. Like Houston's legit, but they've played an absolute shit-ass conference. I'm not bought into Purdue. I think Alabama's legit. I think Tennessee defends like a motherfucker, but it's a Rick Barnes team, so they'll fucking blow it somewhere. It's there. And on top of it, out here in the East, we've got a chance to go to Albany and then go to MSG.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saving my money for. I can only spend so much in the NIL store knowing that that's on the table.
That's 4 potential games that are ostensibly going to be home games. So in the NCAA tournament. So it's on the table, man. I think if we're going to lose games, it's going to be in the next 2.5 weeks. It kind of has to be.
I see HurleyMania is raising his hand. He must have finished his well-done steak, so welcome back.
Well, no, quite the opposite. We've had a bit of a disaster here. The difference between an internal temperature of 120 and 125, I am going out to get my wife ice cream to make up for giving her basically a slightly cooked steak, it turns out. So
you fucked her whole steak up, dude?
quite the opposite. It was a thick cut. I went ambitious.
Well,
Okay,
what type of ice cream you getting? That's the key there.
Oh, Jared, you'll be happy to know this is an AC Peterson scenario.
Oh, very nice. All right, good work there.
I have to teach you how to cook a steak.
No, look, it didn't go this bad last time. I thought I could make it a little redder.
Yeah, it did go bad last time because you're like, I'm just going to leave it on the grill for fucking a decade.
Absolute spurious, disgusting allegations.
You probably just got done chewing it last week.
I can't believe some of you people I associate with.
Guys, we all say the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, one of us is 8 days away from rolling around on the court in a vomit jacket. I don't know if you addressed that while I was gone.
Yeah, baby.
Do we know who you're?
Pullover is going to have another week's worth of life at least.
Do we know who you're going up against yet?
I don't know. I don't have an opponent as of yet. I mean, I don't know. I just want somebody to hit me with like a boat or something at the end.
Meghan, that's your job, right?
My fear is that this will just be some random kid. Dave, if you're here,
please have him go up against some like 7-year-old kid.
You can't do that because I'm definitely gonna like lose track of him on the floor and totally roll the kid over like a fucking pancake.
Yeah, I've previously thought the biggest nightmare scenario was you rolling into a UConn player and causing an injury. I now have to admit there's a worse one, which involves the death of a child.
Yeah, because I'm not letting that fucking kid beat me. There's no way. Like, that's not... I'm a competitive guy. You know, it's take no prisoners, man.
Do we need to explain this one to Armin or Hilltop, by the way? I don't want to leave you guys out of the fun here.
Be my guest.
HotBalls, go ahead.
Oh, well, you know, so we used to have this game, you know, like a promotional thing during games, right? During a extended TV timeout, and riveting entertainment, like top shelf, best thing we did, called the burrito roll. And all you basically do is just, you know, you put out a big roll of paper. It goes all the way across the court. You know, and there was some variations. They threw some little lettuce in there every now and then, and you know, some other stuff. But like, you basically got to roll on the court in the paper and wrap yourself completely up and get it all the way to the other end of the court. And the person that wins, you should get like a Moe's gift card or something like that. And then like 2 years ago, I think it was COVID that killed the burrito roll.
Yeah. That's not sanitary.
Well, the most tragic of all the millions of losses, clearly.
Yeah, and so they killed it. And look, like Game Day Connor, he might be in here. You know, he's there he is.
He is here. He's here.
Yeah, so Game Day Connor and I, you know, we have a long, a complicated relationship where, you know, at first, you know, it took a little time to get to know each other and build the trust between the two of us. But, you know, it kind of rode him a little bit. I blamed him. I took it out on Connor that the burrito roll had been axed from the games. I was very upset about this. And, well, I was angry. And I lashed out quite a bit. And so anyways, you know, one thing led to another. And through my involvement in the Husky Ticket Project, you know, and helping them out, just basically being an idiot, you know, Matt Netchie and some other people got together and said, hey, for an awareness event, wouldn't it be a great idea to make HotBalls' dream come true and bring back the burrito roll? But not only do that, but take the athletic Adonis, that is me, and have me be a participant in this whole thing. So I'm rolling for the kids, man, but I'm also rolling for the competition.
And is there a prize like they used to give out with this, or is this just for shits and giggles?
It's humility that we're giving out this week. So, and I
yeah,
say,
it used to be a gift card. You used to play for a Moe's gift card. That was the prize, and then it was either. First of all, hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having me on. I just wanted to start by saying, HotBalls, if you think there's a fucking chance in the world I'm going to let you beat some 7-year-old kid on my court while we're doing the burrito roll, I got nitro I got Blaze. I got every American Gladiator. I've been watching. We're going to shoot tennis balls at you. We're going to have speed bumps on your side.
I'm getting double leg drop kicks from
Oh my God!
fucking
You're actually
UConn
going to be
student
rolling in it.
men.
Yours is it's going to look like a piece of paper. It's going to be like a 7-pound weighted blanket. You're going to have to be rolling in down the floor.
You should just
Connor,
get Katsu Party a big barbed wire baseball bat and like let her go ham. Take out
Did you
all
guys
that anger
actually
from like
find?
having to throw James Book night out and all the stupid shit that she gets. Kat, we put you through a lot. Here, take it out on this fucking fat
Hey,
fuck.
Hotballs, I can gladly announce that we sent the check into the insurance company today, so we are fully insured for this event at the Husky Ticket
Oh,
Project.
great.
Well, they don't usually have me file a waiver claim before promotion, but I think I'm going to have to.
He only did that because you're going up against one of his kids, right, Nitch?
I would not put my kid within 5 feet of Hotballs.
Netch, I need to know all about the underwriting procedures for this thing.
Well, I can't get into our corporate structure, but I can tell you it was a multi-week endeavor to get insured for this. And they've seen pictures of the mask, and then they saw there were going to be 18,000 people there. So it didn't matter. I pulled some strings. I got some friends that were in the broker area, and we're good to go.
I want to know how many times during this process you heard the following statement. Wait, explain this to me again.
Yeah, so the gentleman that wrote the quote for me is now a Twitter follower, and when he saw my name and it said people you should also follow, he did ask, "Who is Mr. Hotballs, and why do I need to be following him?"
Yeah, this is Armin. This is what we do. This is and this is for the Villanova game with like 16,000 people. So
Is full four going to be in attendance?
no, the coward will not be in attendance.
I think you need to coerce him to go to the game by making him do the burrito roll against you.
Oh, and
How much money do we have to, like, additional money do we have to say we'll raise to get him to do it? Because he can't say no to the kids, right?
I would say, first of all, I would say $2,000. So raise $2,000, and then second, we are also taking ideas for the second event we're going to be doing in February for a women's game. So there has been a rumor of some UConn Twitter musical chairs, but we'll see what happens.
Oh,
You
no.
do some musical chairs. You can get Meghan Bard on a horse in a jousting competition with somebody else.
This isn't just
Wait, what?
South
Yeah.
Carolina. So we're going all out for two of the biggest games of the year. Nova men, South Carolina women.
Megan's years of promoting the polo team have a horrific consequence.
This. I did not agree to any of this. This is not a binding contract in any way, shape, or form. Becky, you're my lawyer.
Netch, did you tell them about the surprise that's happening during the burrito roll?
I did not.
So we, in addition to having the 100+ kids at the game, we will be handing out rotten fruit to them in the entire section, and they will at Hot as he rolls around in a burrito.
Oh, that's lovely.
Connor,
what a great experience for them.
Connor, I really like this American Gladiators thing. Can we build on this?
Listen, I'm all for it. The gauntlet. So, the UConn Twitter Spaces gauntlet challenge. You got to make it
I'm
from
up
one end
for
of
it. You can't fucking break me. I'm an indomitable spirit.
So my grandpa's a World War II vet in the Navy, and used to always tell this story about when they crossed the equator for the first time. He basically had to go through this like tube where they would throw garbage through the tube. They'd be blasting hoses into it, so you'd be getting hit with all this like wet, nasty garbage. They'd be like beating the top of the tube while you're going through it. So I think that's the next step that we got to do for one of these.
As long as it involves Hotballs wearing patriotic spandex and some high-punch socks, I'm in.
Goddamn American icon.
Somehow Hotballs gets, the only term for it is accidentally inducted into the United States Navy at the end of this.
My only question is, as a college student who could be considered a student in a child in some circles, but I get to throw the rotten fruit Hotballs as well.
Don't think we're placing limits on the opportunity here.
Just be careful with the fruit, because that might slick up the floor and then Hotballs gets going downhill.
It's children at heart get to throw the fruit, so that means everyone, all 16,000.
if HotBalls makes his way down to DC in February, I think do we get to throw for him from the student section?
I think half the Big East would like to do that to me.
Let's post
I
And
more
one
than
way,
half,
on
buddy.
Twitter at Rocket
I
Bar.
think you make some major money from like Providence Twitter, Seton Hall Twitter. A lot of people be willing buyers. But that's the thing. You got to be careful. Got to be careful with that fruit because it's going to slick the floor up. If I get going downhill, I'm going to take all the Horties right out. More, Borges. They don't stand a fucking shot.
It's the XL
Come right through like a big old fat red bowling ball.
They're gonna wish they were caged again.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll them over until they're gonna be running back for their cages everywhere.
Is that what retirement does to you? You gain that much weight?
Well, I'm just saying, if I die, just drape my body in the Hartford Whalers Adams Division banner.
It really is in so many ways exactly how he would have wanted to go.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I get hurt or die, like, I want you to know, like, it may suck for a lot of other people in my life. I'm gonna be happy as a clam. My whole spirit's
Are you upping the life insurance policy heading into this event?
I got a guy.
Yeah, he's got a guy.
I don't even know what category some of this falls into. This is such a Connecticut thing. Getting the insurance for the hot balls burrito roll.
The best part is going to be like the half of the
360
crowd that's totally clueless to it. Like, the only people that are going to have any idea of what's going on are going to be the people right around the court.
Connor, have you thought about how you're going to like introduce MisterHotBalls to the group and like do that?
I wrote the read that I sent over to Learfield this week. And, there is a part in it where it says, introducing to the court, so-and-so kid from so-and-so organization and MisterHotBalls.
So that was a real question I was going to have. I'm allowed to say MisterHotBalls in the script.
So we'll find out. I submitted them. Okay. We'll see what happens.
If you don't, you have to let us know who turned you down, so we could all go on Twitter and say that, make him say his name.
I don't even know. Penfield, did I have to announce you by your birth name? I don't even remember if I said your.
I think you did say my full name.
But you said
AKA Penfield on Twitter.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah. I mean, that wasn't like written, but I don't know. Right, short of the people who are in the know, and the other 99% of people don't necessarily know what it is, or just saw the article about hot sauce, and wouldn't have put two and two together. So I'll be really intrigued to read that script that day.
Yeah, I think I framed it as UConn Twitter's own MisterHotBalls.
Yeah. My dream is that you do that and just booze come cascading down, raining upon him as he's egging it on.
I'm going to get the entire student section to read newspapers when I introduce you.
I was going to say the other thing that you could totally do, like if you can't say the name, just have the student section say it. We do like the old Mr. Kennedy intro.
Oh, can the student section do the sucks chant when you come out?
Yeah, we'll get them to do sucks.
I like the thought that there's 363 Division I institutions. 360 of them never think to do insurance for this. Harvard and Yale would just ask where to write the check, and UConn is getting underwriting for it. Like it's amazing. It's perfect in so many ways. The degree of planning.
Well, to be clear, we took out the insurance. We don't want this to end our nonprofit as we know it.
This is going to triple your funding. Are you kidding me?
Well,
the worse this goes, the better it ends for you.
True.
We need. There's got to be someone who helps cut highlights for Sports Center or something. They could sneak this into not top 10 or something.
I know a guy. I'll see what I can do.
Or I just need them coming back from the TV timeout. In they show the quick little highlight or whatever, and they just show him rolling around heading into the break or heading back.
Well,
into the game.
Who's got the broadcast? Does Fanta have the broadcast for the Villanova game?
I'm guessing it's probably Raph, right? I don't know who will be with him, but
Fanta usually doesn't do the big games like that.
Unfortunately, there's no way it's going to be a Fanta broadcast. This might be Gus and Raph. This is given especially what happened last year in this game. This is.
Well, guess what, Bill Rafferty? Say my name.
If Gus goes, my name's MisterHotBalls, and I get buckets, I will.
When we throw the onions
And Billy says,
Onions shaped like that.
Double order.
Oh,
Insane.
this is going to be fun.
I just want somebody to cut like a full hour from different angles of hot balls just rolling perpetually, and it just periodically pops back up on Twitter. You think it's going to get to an end, and it's just him rolling and rolling and rolling.
What music are we going to set it to?
You could do hot stuff by Donna Summer. You could do balls to the wall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options out there.
So I still have some connections in the ESPN digital video team. If someone can let me know what timeout this is going to happen in between, I can find out. I can get word to whoever's doing the highlights for this game, and they'll probably just have they won't have the commercials on the feed. There'll just be a camera of the arena, and I'll just see if we can get the raw footage. I'll have them send it to me directly. I'll get it to Store South. I'll get it to TCF. I'll get it to whoever we need to get to in order to get the perfect production of this.
All right, we should probably know by early next. So I'll let you
awesome.
Can we play "Loser" by Beck?
Yeah, this is how we're planning for the Villanova game, by talking about this shit. I mean, hot balls tomorrow night. I'm driving. Tomorrow night is low key the game of the year in the Big East, because it's a fucking gigantic game between Villanova and St. John's.
I think Villanova's going to run them over like a Mack truck. I think St. John's is such a fraud. I'm so not bought in on St. John's in any way, shape, or form. I feel like Villanova should beat them by 10.
You're right. But I think St. John's fans will be madder if they win, is what we've learned.
Well, it'd probably be true. It could make the game. I mean, I kind of hope for Villanova kind of has a cruise control night, because I'd hate for them to have to come into the XL Center having to beat us. That'd be really tough for them to lose the St. John's game and then have to come in XL Center and play us. They'll have a little bit of a tinge of desperation about them. Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, and Armin, where are we? What's Georgetown's upcoming schedule? Because the Georgetown roulette rolls on.
Aiden,
to be honest,
it's DePaul.
It's going to be really interesting because they've got DePaul next.
Yes,
that's why this needed to be a 30-point blowout, because I fear we might beat DePaul.
We're gonna beat DePaul.
Can I just say I am so disappointed Fox Sports 1 did not schedule that game for New Year's Eve. That should have been New Year's Eve at 9:00.
Yeah,
should have been Christmas.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, how is that not the Christmas game?
I know. We've got Butler on New Year's Day. We could win that game. We got Villanova next, Marquette for that.
Oh, that would be kind of fitting for you guys to win your first Big East game in over a year in 2023 on the first day of the year against Butler.
Yeah, I'm worried they're going to beat DePaul and Butler. They'll be 2-2, and then it's just going to be. We're just going to be. Probably going to be stuck with Ewing to the end of the year, anyways. But the dream scenario was going to be losing to Xavier, check, getting destroyed by UConn, not necessarily check, and then losing to DePaul, who's decimated with injuries right now. And so who knows what happens there. If they lose to DePaul, I have hope that we can move on from Ewing. But if they win against DePaul and Butler, I'll be concerned.
Maybe it's my steadfast belief that DePaul will win on Christmas Day and then lose to Georgetown.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Could be.
I see Georgetown beating Seton Hall, too. Crazy as that may be, January 10th at home, even though there are going to be 20 people in that arena, I have an odd feeling that we're going to win 5 or 6 games just out of nowhere.
Could be. We're going to be the trap game for several teams of the Big East, as tonight and as the Xavier game showed. So we're probably going to pick off a game or two with a team who sleeps on us. And I don't know. 5 games is going to be a massive improvement technically on last season. So
all I can say is best bet in college basketball right now, Georgetown.
True.
Pitt is boat racing Syracuse right now, by the way.
Are they? You hate to see it. That's at Cuse, isn't it, too?
Yep, 59-42. Be sure to check into the old fruit farm tomorrow.
Oh, and Cuse was a 3.5-point favorite tonight, too.
Pitt's actually looked like...
You didn't bet that game, Jared. I
No,
know you didn't bet that game.
I did not. I did not, for the record.
I'm not
Proud of
saying
you.
Pitt has looked good lately, but they've looked less dog shit lately. So, given that Syracuse has still looked like dog shit, I kind of get it. Tonight also was the other side of it in terms of for UConn. Like, they're getting everyone's absolute A-plus game now. That's part of this is every team, even Georgetown, DePaul, they're going to be fully invested. There's no nights off now. That's the standard that's been set. And I think that's part of the value of tonight is as stark of a reminder for UConn as you can get with that because I mean, Georgetown's got dudes. DePaul doesn't, but this night will help serve them to just trying to actually boat race them in the first 5 minutes.
Also, can I just kind of paint a picture for what it's like to be a Georgetown fan these days? So tonight we had our player turned manager turned player Malcolm Wilson play 1 minute against the number 2 to make his season debut against the number 2 team in the country over Ryan Mutombo, former 4-star recruit who hasn't played a minute in I believe at least 3 to 4 games. And now we have Denver Anglin.
Is he hurt? What's going on with Ryan Mutombo? He hasn't touched the floor.
He's healthy. He's just not playing.
I don't think to be honest, I don't think he's very good.
Yeah.
I don't think he is either. But like, it's.
He's not a manager though.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan
That's
Mutombo,
insulting.
take it from me, great guy. I love seeing him when we go out. He is everywhere, but not a very good basketball player.
I don't think basketball is his priority, which I respect. I mean, I think he cares about his academics, which good for him. But
he's an intelligent guy, and he's the only Georgetown basketball player who has a presence on campus, simply because we see him like literally at every social event.
And now we have Denver Anglin, who UConn recruited, who's now tweeting out of frustration, saying, "quote Gonna always stay ready." After he didn't play again tonight.
That's healthy. That's good. That's a good environment.
So
that's
it's great. And Jordan Riley, his dad, like tweets it out of anger, like after basically every day, not even after every game, just after every day. So I feel like we'll have at least one transfer between now and the next game against DePaul.
Jesus
Maybe
Christ.
We'll see.
Yeah, the Mutombo thing almost feels like Patrick knows he can not play him because like he won't lose Dikembe's kid, but fucking I don't know.
It's just insulting. That's so insulting to have a manager be added to the roster yesterday, and he plays over you in a tight game against the number 2 team in the country. That's just straight insulting. I don't care if you're the son of your best friend or just another average player. Like that's just straight up insulting.
I'm all for, teaching lessons, proving points, but like we're 23 games into the conference losing streak, 27 major games. Like at this point, Pat, I don't know. I just play the kid. I mean, I don't think there's whatever you want him to learn. It's not going to register at this point. So try not losing would be my really.
And this is the cycle he gets trapped in basically every season. He chases wins and he puts the young kids on the bench and doesn't give them opportunity, and then they don't get the opportunity and they transfer out, and then he's stuck finding these transfers like Murray and Spears, who, you're stuck adding in 8 to 9 new faces every year. And
where did Spears come from again?
Duquesne.
Right.
Where's your do you guys have like any recruits committed for 23?
Yeah, we have one kid, Marvel Allen, who was LSU under Nickelberry. So
another guy.
Once a 5-star. Once a 5-star. Now he's a 3-star.
Okay, well,
he's dealt with a lot of injuries, to be fair. But I mean, I think he's a good prospect. But I don't have
Xavier's blowing this lead against Seton Hall. It's a 2-point game.
I was mostly Hilltop. I was mostly just wondering if like maybe they don't want to do it because they don't want to lose some 5-star I hadn't noticed.
No, I mean their other 2 top kids after Allen were Isaiah Miranda and Dennis Parker, and I mean they were basically focusing exclusively on them after Allen, and they lost out on both of them, and they don't really have any other close connections with any other 23 kids, so they're basically back to the drawing board. And they haven't really been doing much recruiting yet in season, so I have no idea what's going to happen after the season. I don't think he's going to stay, but if Ewing were to stay, I don't know how it's sustainable.
Well, look at it this way: you have one more commit than Syracuse, so there you go.
Oh, well, that's good. I feel better now.
Yeah, Syracuse has none. It's one of the many things we've been pointing and laughing about the last 2 months. Literally 0.
Just a crazy stat. I don't mean to go off topic here, but as we're talking about some other Big East teams here. Looking at this Marquette box score here, Providence had a 49-19 advantage at the free throw line tonight. Got Shaka Smart complaining after the game tonight about that.
49 free throws?
Yeah, a 49-19 advantage at the free throw line. And Shaka Smart saying that Marquette needs to get more respect in the league.
All right, Jared, 1.5. We get it. All right, no, that's a pretty wild discrepancy.
Yeah,
good old Big East referees back at it again.
and the crew tonight was not very good, by the way.
No,
one of them, and Netchie, you can speak to it. One of them clearly had to be in the old bonnet for Dan pretty early.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes into the game, and the younger guy with the nice coiffed hair, Netchie-like hair. Hurley was chirping like it was Hurley of the last 4 years, and the guy just started eyeballing him the whole time, and just said, "One more time, give it to me one more time," and then just stared at him for 2 minutes. And then there was another time where he just laid into our bench. Like, I can't use profanities because I want to do things with my life, and this is being recorded. But like stuff that from
Mistake
10 rows away
one.
you really shouldn't be hearing. So my kid's got a kick out of it. But he basically was told by another one of the refs, like, Hurley was told by the crew, I think the guy was the crew chief, like, I'll take care of this, I'll calm him down. I mean, that guy went and called a technical later in the game, so I don't know how much he calmed anyone down, but it was from the go.
The funny thing is, on the Hurley technical, on the replay at least, I have no idea what he said, but like, he was literally standing there with his arms crossed, mouth closed, and the ref turned and gave him a technical.
Well, and Spears was talking trash, and again, rightfully so. I mean, he was having his Ryan Gomes moment, so he was going at the UConn bench the entire game, and they didn't say boo. And then when Jackson hit that three and turned around, I don't know what he said, but that was the quickest tee I've seen in a long time.
I got to go back
reputation tee.
I got to go back and rewatch the clip too, because someone said like the Georgetown coaches were saying something to Jackson like while he was getting ready to shoot there.
I mean, whatever he said, it wasn't like a long conversation. That's for sure.
No, no, and again, as mentioned earlier, you taunt the bench, you should get a free throw, not give
the other one was Diarra had that like strip down low that they called a foul on, and it was like the replay, it did not look like a foul at all.
And
but anyways, Diarra went and talked to the ref, and the ref, Anderson, immediately turned to him and was like, "Cut it out, or I'm gonna."
Did you guys see, not to butt in, but did you guys see the interaction that the ref had with a fan courtside? It was weird.
No.
So I sit in 107. This was towards the end of the game, kind of right after a couple of those rough calls happened, and the student section started to get into it. And I'm sorry, I'm awful with the referee names. But anyways, he was on like the sideline right in front of like 107, 108. And there was an older gentleman. He was in a blue shirt and he was gray hair. I'm not sure quite how old he was, but probably in his upper 50s, 60-ish. And I'm not sure what he really said, but he definitely said something in regard to the officiating because, the whole crowd was going crazy. And I have no idea what this guy said, but the referee, like, he was standing there facing play as it was about to start. And he turned around. He just turned it, like, he didn't turn his full body. He kind of just did, like, turned his hips and looked back at the guy. And he kind of, like, held his hands out and said a couple of things to him. Like, he was just dead-eyed staring him, said a couple of things. And then you could see the guy courtside kind of just put his hands up and be like, well, I'm not sure what said, but, based on the body language, it seemed kind of like, oh, whoa, like, my bad, like, okay. So I'm not really sure what the guy said, but I noticed it, because we sit about 10 rows back in 107, so we're right there. It was weird. I'm not sure what the guy said. Maybe he said some magic words to the ref, and you probably shouldn't do that if you're sitting courtside. But I've never quite seen something like that happen before at one of our games. The last time something like that happened. Actually, it was like 5 or 6 seats down from where that whole book night incident happened.
JB, was it the white-haired ref?
No, it was the
okay.
No, he was the African American referee. I'm not sure what his name was. I'm bad with the referee names. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I was just curious because Brian O'Connell has been a ref for a very long time and one of many who has a willingness to interact with the student section when, this may surprise a lot of people, but I was a bit confrontational when I was in the front row of the student section.
You?
No,
And
you don't
You?
say.
so I have a good long standing relationship with Brian O'Connell, with Jeff Anderson. Actually, a great relationship with Gene Steratore. He reffed a UConn game a couple days after. I think he was the ref for that Tebow playoff game for the Broncos. And I complimented his performance, and he turned around and he shook my hand. And he was like, "Thank you so much." But yeah, some of those other guys, they love to interact, ask you if you want to, leave the game early to go study. And so they, sometimes
That's
it's
such a
playful.
diplomatic description of it, Tim.
Yeah.
I had a relationship with Brian O'Connell.
Well, the funniest thing, one of my favorite college basketball memories was, after 3 years in the student section, I was covering the team for the Daily Campus, of course. And the first time Jeff Anderson saw me sitting courtside in the press seats, I was wearing a suit because I was, the college student trying to impress. He did a double take, and he looked, and he just looks at me and goes, "Are you serious?" And just couldn't believe that I was over over on the press seats then. So from then I had to actually be on my best behavior.
I actually love that because that completely fucked with his mind. I respect that.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
wasn't why you did it, but that should be why you did it. It was
All right, well, guys, my battery's running out, so I'm gonna hop off in a couple minutes. I'll leave you all to the fun, but I'm finally feeling better. Nice to be back on one of these spaces with everyone tonight. So,
and Jared,
thanks for having me.
At some point, we are actually going to recap the football team. we
I mean,
night.
Yeah,
that was the purpose, and then we dissected the dead body of Georgetown basketball.
No problem.
Yeah,
no, we'll get into that. We could talk about some more terrible officiating on that one once we want to get to that. But
Dan Hurley, speaking of UConn football, I had a very nice shout out to the guys tonight.
Yes.
You think Hurley's becoming a closet UConn football fan? He's going to get weirder than the Bengals. Get all mad. He'll start showing up on UConn football spaces.
Well, the Bengals are getting hot, so if he wants to use his rage, I mean, let's be honest, UConn football is going to provide that outlet more often than Joe Burrow. So, yeah, I think so. I think he's going to lean into it. He's going to be watching a lot of tape. National Signing Day tomorrow. I expect him to waltz into Mora's office with a list of 5 guys or something at North Central College who just won the D2 title. Ask him why the hell he hasn't got these guys.
Well, everyone have a good night. Happy holidays if we don't talk before then. But we've got 8 days off now, so I'm sure we'll be doing one of these at some point soon.
Gonna have to kill some time.
God damn it. None of our families want to see any of us. We call Hartford, schedule a game. What the hell? A couple of teams,
they might schedule a game against UConn Twitter. If we could put together 10 guys, they will play us.
I piece them up.
Yeah, you're a post guy. I'm kind of a 3. I think Jared definitely runs the point.
I'm a very good game manager point guard.
Yeah, I'm a 4. I'm a grinder. I'm a big rebounding guy. Defense, D him up. Give me the best post guy.
And you know what? If a
couple flagrant fouls.
If Bill Klingon is over his pneumonia, we could suit him up at the 5.
Suit him up at the 5. Yeah, be a complete fucking embarrassment of a basketball game. But I'm in condition. I'm in shape.
You mentioned Bill. That actually made me think of something. It was. And yeah, I'm mining the boneyard for content ideas, folks. The team's fucking 13-0. What do you want? Were any of you surprised? I mean, not Jared. Have a good night. But
thanks.
I guess Penfield or Netchie or obviously HotBalls. Were you at all surprised that we didn't see a couple of minutes of Donovan and Adama on the court tonight to try and counteract the size when it wasn't going well?
I thought that could happen. I think the issue for a while was it looks like Donovan got popped in the face and had, I don't know if those stitches they were talking about from earlier in the week got pulled or something happened, but I think that the latter half of the first half is when it should have happened, and he wasn't coming off the bench till the second half.
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
think.
point. Donovan had kind of a physical week. Go ahead, Penfield.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's definitely something with his teeth, I think, and but yeah, he didn't really play much after that for the rest of the first half. So
Who needs teeth, though? Who even wants to talk about those? They have straws.
Go talk to the hockey team about it. By the way, HotBalls, big news. They gave me tickets. I have my season tickets for the
Who did they give
Milk
you
Forum.
tickets, or did you buy them and they actually gave them to you and mailed them to you?
No. I'm a season ticket holder, and all of the UConn hockey season ticket holders, check your account. There's a box in it that says this is where the tickets would be, but they aren't there yet. Here's where you will sit. I am counting that as actionable. So we don't actually have the tickets, but we now have a place where the tickets could go. So
Excellent.
I am taking that as a win.
Is it
Have
in
you
the little?
gotten
Is it
into
a
the
little?
Alaska Anchorage game yet?
No, not yet. There's a very strong possibility, however, I will actually have an extra for the first game. So I
might go.
I am considering. Well, look here. If it's you, yeah, it's got to be you. But if it wasn't you, I was considering what sort of contest we were going to have to do.
This is why I'm a giving guy, because when it comes time to cash in the debts, I got all the leverage in the world.
Yeah, I'm basically in most of the games on HotBalls extra seats, so I kind of do owe you that. But no, my wife's going to be out of town on business for opening night against Northeastern, so I will be there. I'll actually be there the day before. Also, the women's hockey team is playing a game the day before. I'm going to go check that out too. Kind of get the full lay of the land before the full opening night thing.
Right. So let's get to Bill here, and then let's start to get some callers in. I know we've got kind of a line here, and everybody's been waiting nice and patiently, and go from there. So, Bill, what do you think about playing the 5 against Hartford?
Dude, I don't even know if I can run one. I couldn't even play half court for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm so out of shape and old now.
Well, that would be me too. So that's 2 of us.
So, update on Donovan. The first shot he took pushed one of his front teeth back.
Oh,
yeah, and the second shot he took pushed the other tooth, the other front tooth, in front of the tooth that was pushed back.
Well, UConn has the best dental school in the country. I will say that.
He has a 9 a.m. appointment.
Oh,
wow, that's incredible.
Oh,
We really are a hockey school, aren't we?
That is so brutal, Bill. And Bill, I thought you'd be thrilled between being home and Donovan not looking like Shaquille O'Neal tonight. We have some stuff we can work on.
Well, I'm not even. I don't even want to talk about the game.
That's fair enough. I can't imagine, like, how often could Donovan have ever been hit in the mouth? Like, the height for that to occur is pretty wild.
Well, he got the 5 stitches yesterday from the collision with the Dama. Now he's got the mouth, and he got stitches earlier in the year because he took a shot from Samson in the face right underneath the eye. So the dude's fucking taking a beating.
UConn combat basketball.
So yeah, it's good for him. You know what I mean? But he said it was hysterical. He had his mouthpiece in to hold the teeth in where they were, and his mouth was like full of blood, and everybody in the front rows and stuff was all pointing at him and stuff because it was just full. He says he didn't want to swallow it or nothing. It was just disgusting.
Oh,
but
it's the worst.
He said during that the Joey comeback there, the Joey show, he said he's never heard it that loud. He said it was really, really, really loud. He said Gampel was just out of control. It was crazy.
Yeah, that behind the back pass was nuts. That was
was
some Matrix shit.
I was surprised Donovan was ready for it.
Yeah, I was too. Like, I didn't see that pass coming at all. I thought he was going straight up with it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do his floater over the top,
Yeah, Joey was fully in his bag, and that was kind of the first one. It's a credit to Donovan for you talk about how often those guys hang out, and it's proven on that play because I don't know how the hell Donovan can assume that's going to happen, but he was ready for it.
They know each other. I'm telling you, they're just around each other all the time. So, it's a good thing.
Well, another good thing, by the way, we're thrilled you're out, man. Glad you're feeling better, home for Christmas, and you're going to have somebody sitting across from you with a pile of gauze in his mouth, apparently, which It sucks, but God,
Yeah,
what's happening in practices?
dude, they go at it, man. I mean, you practice like you play. You want to play. You got to practice hard. And that's what I like about the coaching staff. And it's just shit like that's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, the idea is to make the practices harder than the game. I didn't realize how much harder they are, and it's also a reminder when folks want to get frustrated because we're struggling with Georgetown about like how freaking hard these kids work, and they were as pissed off as you may have been. So I give them credit for powering through it, their first adversity of the year, and unlike Omar Calhoun finishing the job. So that's just a
I'm gonna
shot at.
fight you.
I know. I like Omar. It's just a personal thing with you.
I never ever insinuated that he was like the second coming. I just loved him. And especially, I just being on campus in 2013, I don't think it's a crime to love Omar Calhoun as much as I did. And also I put them side by side. That Joey shot was a dead ringer. It was incredible.
It really was. It did actually remind me of that. That's why I thought.
Look at the video I just put up.
I saw you tweeted something at me, but
yeah, you're my inspiration in everything I do. You know that.
Gonna clip that. Use that later. Thank you.
Does that mean I get the ticket?
No, God, now I feel bad. I'm still deferring to HotBalls. Just go to the women's hockey game the day before, dude. I'll see if I can get you in.
want
I'm
to.
sure. Is Dave still in here? If Dave's not in here, we got to get Tim into that game. That's a requirement.
I'll try.
Sorry, I took this drastically off the rails. HotBalls, carry on.
It's all your fault. All right, let's start getting some people in here. We got Climbing Huskies. Let's get him in here. And he can do his thing. He's been waiting very patiently. Been a very good boy. Climbing Huskies, man. What do you got for us tonight?
So I'm actually almost home. I'm a New Milford resident, so I'm about to be pulling into my driveway. Not what I expected, but a W at the least. Game Day Con, are you still here? I tweeted at you earlier. I'm trying to get on the court for a halftime show, but MisterHotBalls, I know you're going to be doing your burrito roll thing, and I got a 6-year-old daughter that's going to be at the game, the Villanova game, and she's ready to take you on. If you
talk to my management. Talk to my management.
You say that now, but
drop the fight contract.
Yeah, she would take you down. I'm trying to make her a little tougher. She's been a school nurse 11 times this year before Christmas, so I'm trying to toughen her up for a little bit. And so, what better way than a HotBalls burrito contest?
There you go.
This is a reminder. We also need to bring back the Dress Like a Husky contest that they used to have.
Yes.
That was always exciting and a great way to make money as a student because we used to put dollar bets on the 5-year-old kids who were dressing like a husky.
Yep.
And some of the parents loved it. I won one time, and a dad made his kid come over to me and shake my hand because I won $1 thanks to his child.
So my 6-year-old has the Andre Jackson autographed card that I got from Compliment of Boneyard Huskies, and she hides it from me. Trying to put it in my man cave bar, and she literally won't let me take it. She also was a big Cook fan, and did not come with me tonight because it's school night, and I live in fucking New Milford. But she, she was happy with the result, and talked to her on the way home. But overall, Joey Calcaterra is what I have to say, about that game. The behind the back pass,
yes.
And then the half court. I mean, the half court fucking shot. That shit was from the S and the Huskies. I scouted these seats for years. I got a row of 2 directly next to the student section. Section 14, the last row, fucking your back is against the cement. But it's a row of 2, and I can fit 8 of you motherfuckers with me anytime you guys want to go. If you get one single ticket, come sit in section 14. The last row in the damn section, seats 13 and 14, but I could fit a good 8 to 10 people behind me.
There you go. That's what I do. I just buy a row.
I always eyeballed that section and always wondered like who was smart enough to
That
get
was
it.
me.
So I've now answered.
I scouted it for fucking 10 years. I'm not even joking you. Like I finally pulled the trigger one year, and the reason, well, actually it was the Cincinnati game, that, you know, when it ended on the not foul. I think it was Kilpatrick shooting that shot at the end of the game. That was the last game I had before I said these are my season tickets and I will never give them up.
Well, man, props to you. New Milford is a hall.
Yeah,
New Milford's a hall, man. Respect.
XL is a little better for me. I've been going since the Ray Allen days, and you know, some of my childhood memories. Kirk King. I know it's a little sour, but I was talking to
Free Kirk King.
Kirk King. I was talking to a guy in the robe in front of me tonight about Kirk King and how he was a bruiser, and you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I started going to games at double letters at XL Center when I was 5 years old. Up in I think it was 224. I think 234, whatever the center rows in XL Center. Those were my season tickets when I was a kid, and then pulled the trigger not long ago, and I got 3 to XL, 2 to Gampel, and here we are, number 2 in the country.
Yeah, this season, I love thinking of guys like you who've just stuck with it, been with it, and like kept buying tickets, kept driving from fucking New Milford, from sitting in row double H or wherever at the XL Center, and now you get this, man. It's pretty freaking special because I'd like to think it'll always be this way, but odds are it won't. So just enjoy it. I know HotBalls and I are going.
Wasn't always this way. I used to drive from Cromwell, which wasn't too bad. I moved out here, but it's been a great year. This is a special team. You know, like I haven't seen a team like this. I know we won in 11 and 14, but as far as depth, like honestly, like this is remnants of the 09, 08, 06, maybe the 06 team that was, you know, we don't want to talk about that, but this is one of the deepest teams I can remember, and it's a special team, and they love each other, and I think that's the most important thing. Like Bill was saying, you know, they spend so much time together. It's a special team, and I hope we witness history.
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be an expensive year. That's what it's going to be.
So much money. Just absolutely awesome.
Before I pull in my driveway, I do have to say, I could sell, this is nuts, I could sell my 3 tickets to XL and pretty much fucking pay my way to the Big East tournament.
That's getting my season tickets are getting. My tickets are very, very valuable right now.
Listen, I sit in 219 row E. I could sell 3 tickets and I can make $600.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're flying this year. They're popular.
Yeah, I'm kind of psycho excited to see what the hell Wednesday's like with Nova in town and a crowd that either A, hasn't been paying attention and thinks it's Nova and Jay Wright, or B, has been paying attention and wants blood. So that could be pretty wild. But thank you for the commitment, and I'm glad you had a safe drive home too. I mean, look, you say you just got home. We did a space after the Butler game, and the team landed, and we were still spacing. So this makes me feel a little less weird.
And then we went for 2 more hours.
Yeah, you guys are fucking animals.
Crazy. All right, Climate Huskies, appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you. Later. All right. Who else we got here? We got Ryan's been waiting patiently. Ryan, man, go ahead. Give us what you got, buddy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Big UConn fan. Big fan of the spaces that Shiraz did last season. Miss him, but big shout out to you, MisterHotBalls, for running this. Just want to say that the UConn Huskies right now are a freight train of a team. Even though we didn't play as well as we typically do in the beginning of the first half, Once we start clicking and things get rocking and rolling, there's really no slowing us down. And I really think that behind the back, no look pass from Calcaterra was the catalyst that we needed tonight. So kind of just want to give you a shout out, Mr. HotBalls, because this is so dope.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, this is kind of leading towards a UConn Kansas Final Four, and we just call Shreyas out, because for those who don't know, Shreyas is now basically the main beat reporter for KU out in Kansas City. And he did, his spaces I kind of feel were like kind of how I discovered this. And so what other way can this end, HotBalls, than us just calling him out and doing some giant Final Four preview?
Mr. B minus. We can have a B minus spaces out in Houston.
Mission get John Fanta in a space.
Well, I mean,
you missed the other night, my friend.
Of his own volition, because John had had a fun evening out in South Carolina.
Field of 68 guys as a trio had a very good night down in South Carolina, particularly Mr. Doster. But
they go hard. And by the way, Mr. Doster in a little while will be doing I know he's doing Field of 68 after dark. He was almost a little worried about having to do it on a night where the three best games were Big East games. And I cannot imagine what he was going through with about 10 minutes to go if he had to do that show off of UConn losing to Georgetown.
Oh.
But crisis averted for Mr. Doster.
Yeah, but Fant came on, Mr. Doster came on, and we even got a brief cameo from Terrence Oglesby, who seemed to maybe be playing the babysitter that night, but who knows with that crew. What's going on with them?
They're in Greenville, which is outside of Clemson, where they remind people about that Clemson had a basketball team. And when they did, he was very good on it. So I assume Terrence had some mayoral privileges there. By the way, I did some searching. Mike Roberts was the referee in question this evening in terms of Captain Douchebag. He looking it up. I mean, he's one of the better refs, or one of the higher profile ones. But yeah, I don't know if he got a bad order at Duncan's or what, but he seemed to just pissed off tonight. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, a little confrontational, huh? Not really in the holiday spirit, I don't think, right now. Maybe he had a bad experience at Bed Bath & Beyond earlier tonight.
His only other Big East game so far, he had Marquette Creighton last week at Fiserv.
Yeah, and when Diarra had that block on a cook and he got fouled and Diarra had his arms up in the air, he was like, "Put your arms down." Like, dude, like, just walk away from the player. Just walk towards the table, show him the numbers. Like, you don't need to make it bigger than what it is.
It wasn't even that crazy. It's just like, oh, come on, that's not a foul, which is like 99, the reaction that college basketball players give you to 99% of the calls that go against them. I was kind of surprised, but it is what it is, man. Some refs like to be the show, unfortunately.
He had the Georgetown OT loss to South Carolina as well. I don't know if he felt bad for Patrick or what, but that was he had a weird night. He's usually a pretty good ref, but one reason he might have been pissed off is that his last game yesterday, the life these guys live is so insane. So Mike Roberts has worked this is wild. Okay, so this was his 5th day in a row reffing high-end college basketball. In the last 5 days, he was in Milwaukee. Then he went to the United Center to do NC State Vanderbilt. Then he went to Birmingham, Alabama to do UAB Southern. Then yesterday he was in Poughkeepsie doing Manhattan Marist. And tonight he was at Gampel, which is just not in anybody's best interest for the sport. But this is where we are. We've talked about HotBalls offseason. They're just going to run the officials they have into the ground and then wonder why they all stink.
Yep, and why they're all edgy. I mean, it is what it is, man. There's just not enough. There's not enough officials on planet Earth anymore, unfortunately, and in most major sports, And when people feel like they're getting chased out or they don't want to be a part of it, you get fewer and fewer refs. When you have fewer and fewer refs, you get significantly more bad refs. And even worse than that, you get significantly worse officials that end up working at levels that they probably shouldn't. And the game just moves too fast for those guys and having to make decisions. And they're human beings too, and so they react to things in a different way. Some of them just turtle and hope you don't notice too much, but others will fight back and dig in and get really ornery with you. So, look, man, we say it every year. I don't like the officials either. They piss me off. Like, we can talk about them until we're blue in the face, but like, it is the old Kim Guilfoyle fucking speech. The best is yet to come. It is only going to get worse, man. Like, it is not going to get better anytime soon. So you're just going to have to fucking grit your teeth and bear it. All right. Braden has joined us tonight. Braden, thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. What do you got for us tonight?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Gampel was just something else tonight, and I think anyone who was there or even on TV recognized that. It's basically since Memphis at XL Center pre-COVID, I don't think I've been at a UConn game that felt like that. But what I wanted to say, I'm a high school basketball official, so I don't usually like shitting on the refs, but I was sitting in the first row of the student section, and especially in that second half, like, oh my gosh, there was some not good calls. Unless they're seeing something that just no one else can see, like Jordan, especially that one on Jordan Hawkins that they actually called on Andre by accident. Like,
it felt like they got the wrong guys on fouls a couple of times, 2 or 3 times tonight.
Yeah, Dan was getting pissed. Like, Andre came directly down on the ball, and they called the whistle, called on Andre, who I don't think was even in the lane at the time. Like, I haven't had time to go back and look at it, but like, ooh,
and then
goodness.
It affected what they were doing, because then they immediately pulled Andre because he was on 4 fouls. And once the timeout came and they corrected it, a few seconds later, they put Andre back in because they had a little more safety with him.
Yeah, it was a very confusing night. I think like how teams play down to competition sometimes. Like, I've experienced this as an official. Like, officials play down to the level of other officials. So if you have like one stinker on a crew, it can really affect, because you have to try and match. Like, you have to make the calls the same. Like, you have to call it the same everywhere. That's why they switch every foul. But if you have one official who's making some bad calls out there, like, you have to make those same calls basically, and it makes it look bad. I really would have liked to see them like de-escalate a little better, especially when you have those back-to-back calls that are like 50-50 calls and they both don't go their way, and then you see Dan getting pissed off. Like, I would expect Division I Big East college officials to be better at de-escalating those situations. It was kind of a tough night for the officiating crews. But also, I just want to say, like, we've talked about depth, and I think this game showed that really well, because me and my friends noticed when they went on that major run in the second half, on the court, the only starter was Andre Jackson. Every other person was from the bench. So, like, their depth is just otherworldly, basically.
Yeah, that's what I think makes them so formidable. Like, the number deep you got to go to try and match them. Virginia's really good, but I don't know that Virginia can do it. That's kind of not how their thing rolls.
They just lost, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Oh, did they? All right. Well, yes. We commented on Purdue being a joke.
Syracuse is almost about to come all the way back on Pitt here.
They were down 2, and he had it in the paint with like 1 second to go, and just dribbled the ball off his own foot. So they lost.
Magnificent, truly magnificent. Yeah, well, we're looking at I'm refreshing the old KenPom, which, as bad as we thought tonight was, UConn actually had kind of opened up a pretty big lead in first on Houston, if you care. So that's why I thought they'd still kind of possibly be in first. Basically narrowed in half, but they're still up there. UCLA starting to get it together, HotBalls. I don't think you're a believer, though.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I think they're pretty decent. I can't get carried away with wins against Kentucky. Kentucky is fucking atrocious right now. They're bad. I mean, they're offensively, they're a fucking absolute shit show. So I'm just not super buying into that yet. But who knows? It's gonna be very interesting to see them play Arizona. That could be Could be a really interesting matchup out there.
In the Final Four.
No. Not doing it.
You can't wait. You're gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. I've held off so far. We're almost halfway into the season. I've held off. I've resisted temptation. What's going to happen is they're going to beat UCLA by 65 points, and that's probably going to break me.
Which, even though you don't think they're that good. By the way, so Gonzaga's going to beat Montana by like 7 at home. That's a little weird. It was fun to see. By the way, the thing they would never have done to Coach K tonight, they made Duke go on the road to Wake Forest in December. But and lost. So welcome to reality for Duke basketball. Let's see. Louisville's winning streak ended at 2. They lost at home to Lipscomb.
Solid loss.
And Syracuse.
They lost by 10, right?
Which one? Louisville?
I thought Louisville lost by 10.
They lost by 8.
I can't read anyway. It's fine. That's still funny.
And the Pitt-Syracuse gong show. So there's that. Meanwhile, back closer to home, I wanted to look up. I hadn't seen the Seton Hall final. Oh God, they almost
lost
win?
by 3. Yeah,
lost by 3. We got Cody in the chamber here, so I just want to let him stew for a little bit longer. I'm trying to simmer that on the old pan here. Get him extra piping hot before we bring him in.
They had a chance to take the lead. They were down by 1, and then Richmond traveled, and then Xavier got 2 free throws and they missed a 3.
God, I can't wait for Kaderi to absolutely not do that against us and just piss me off. I mean, they'll change it from a 15-point win to like a 13-point win, but still. Fucking Kaderi. Again, anytime Cody beats somebody else, that's all I want him to do. He could have done us a solid. But, so Xavier 2-0, and, as is Providence, fucking typical. So you got UConn, Providence, Xavier up atop the Big East at 2-0. And Nova, meanwhile, with their opener tomorrow night, if St. John's is 2-0 tomorrow, that's very funny, but it also means that UConn basically has a game and a half lead on Villanova right off the top, which is kind of notable.
Pitt is desperate to give this game away right now.
It's 83-82.
Oh, that I just saw the 3.
Gerard
that
just
turnover
hit a
was
3 from almost half court. 34 seconds left.
Well, you shoot enough of them.
Pitt turned the ball over. Guy drove into the lane, drove baseline, and stepped like his toes out of bounds, and then so they turned the ball over, and then he hit from TJ Sorrentine range.
That is not an offensive foul. Oh my God, they did it.
Oh, that's a flop. Come on.
I hope that whole stupid fucking building falls over. I hate
Look at these fucking idiots.
Just remind yourself, this is one of the 2-3 nights a year they actually get to pretend they're really into this experience.
Judah Mintz just threw himself to the ground.
Flop McFlopperson.
Oh my God.
Hey, I mean, Tim, you would look, and I say this actually as a compliment. You are an aficionado of Serie A. How bad was the flop?
It was like watching Napoli play sometimes.
That's pretty high praise isn't the term for it. I'm just now getting the replay now. First of all, love Pitt's pace uniforms, whatever the fuck the giant P.
That's fucking terrible, dude. It's a bad year for uniforms, by the way.
Yeah,
Providence's uniforms need to be incinerated.
Tonight, that was a third uniform. Let's not do that again. But I'll keep it at home, too. Not that our uniforms are bad, but the Huskies written on the leg, not a fan of that. Too busy. But, look, this is what we get to complain about at 13-0.
Yeah, we got to find something, the content killers that they are.
No, Dome looks nice and empty, too. Yeah, no, they're cashing bigger checks, though, at least. Go ahead, Apple.
Hey, Basil has been waiting in the neither regions of the request line. So,
all right,
Basil, go for it, man.
Hey guys, oh my God, my voice is messed up right now. That was amazing. That burst by Joey C. That resulted in probably the loudest I've heard Gampel like you guys said, since the Xavier game. Probably even louder. But what I really wanted to touch on was some people that don't want to stand up during games, and especially telling some people, such as Shabazz's mom, that she can't stand up. That's a no. I mean, if you're gonna,
I'm fighting. I am fighting people,
Yep.
Basil. I am
saw that
going
happen.
to war.
I saw that happen, and I was ready to come running down from the upper level.
Oh my
Because that's what
God.
I wanted to point out too, Basil, is how awesome is it that Shabazz's mom is still there by herself, mind you.
Yep.
Just like by herself in her son's jersey. She was starting UConn Husky chants.
Mhm.
She was up clapping, screaming, dancing the whole. We were down like 6 or 8 in this. It was like early in the second half when Georgetown went on that run,
Mhm.
and she was just dancing by herself. Just she was chill. She's like, "We got this," and she was just like she was trying to get everyone in that building into the game again. I mean, we don't talk enough about how awesome it is that Carmen's still around.
It's so funny that she still comes back. She's a fucking heat-seeking missile, man. She's no joke. She is definitely the queen of the moms. I think I don't know, it's tough, man. Kemba's mom was into things too, but she's crazy. And
Well,
all
that's
the
the other part. That's the other part about having the moms. It's not just cool that they're there. They're like all super still into it, which is
big
so
rumor
cool.
out in the street tonight was Joey California's mom was in town as well for the game. More UConn moms coming in.
On Shabazz's mom, I want to say she must live kind of close, because I remember a few years back I was at West Farms, and I was just walking with a couple of my buddies, and she and Boatwright's mom walked by me, and this was several years after both of them had graduated. And it was, I don't even know if it was basketball season. It was so weird. I'm just like, why the heck did I just walk by them? But it's so cool that they support.
And it's not even like
the
that.
bonds for life thing. It's not just the players. It's the families and shit. Like I don't take it for granted. The fact that Carmen still comes to games, man, that's special shit to still be that invested.
They do it all the
It's a
time.
whole new staff. It's almost a friggin' decade. That's amazing.
And it's not even just a game like this. I sat next to her a couple weeks ago at the Delaware State game. Like, that's the kind of commitment there is. And I'll tell you, just like, looking ahead, I think we're going to have another one coming in next year with Stephen Castle's mom. I think she's already bought in, ready to be a lifetime season ticket holder, ready to be the same exact way.
There was some rumors she was like getting a condo or something up here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I believe it. I think she may have even said that herself. I think they're planning on being here all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I can't confirm or deny that, but I heard that as a rumor.
Is it
She
the
got
Maya
mad at
Moore
me because
family condo, and we're gonna get Tennessee filing lawsuits and shit?
Yeah. Stefan Castle's mom got mad at me for not coming up and saying hi to the family when I realized that I was sitting behind them and I didn't want to intrude on their enjoyment of the game. She's like, "You come up to us next time. You say hello. We want to be friends with everyone." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good."
Really fabulous end of game execution by Syracuse.
Yeah,
absolutely spectacular.
Fuck that. I'm rest in piss.
Yeah,
that was
but
hilarious.
you just lost to a team in knockoff Towson uniforms. Congratulations. That's what the P on the front of them stands for. HotBalls. Piss. That's who they just lost to. But speaking of next year, the other Mr. Ball in the building tonight. You imagine what was going through his mind when that place was going nuts. That's what this sort of stuff breeds, man. You start getting the other recruits in. It's not just about how good the team is, but how the atmosphere is. And that's the importance of the fan base, man. And Basil, the people you talk about, I see it. And if I didn't get it when we were mid-tier AAC team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're still being the fan police at Gampel, I genuinely want you to get hit in the face with a tire iron. I just you're at a college.
Like
you're at a college basketball.
Right,
right. What are you going for? Honestly,
exactly.
What sort of sick sadistic experience do you want? Like Eyes Wide Shut? Everyone just sits there in masks and fucking watches them tear teams apart.
It's just so weird. We really do have
game.
a section of the fan base that's like the library crew, man. I don't know what the fuck you expect to come in and watch. I don't know. Maybe Dave should just take out a section of the seats and put some couches there. maybe a couple of hospital beds or some shit, and just like let them be left
Well,
alone.
they did. That's where the press
Cages.
sits.
Get the
Dude,
old
they had-
hard cages out and like put them in a soundproof chamber so they can sit there and watch the game in silence, and then maybe we'll build an extra exit so they can leave with 10 minutes left in the game.
Like why?
Fucking-
Like what kind of the audacity you have? Like to have two of the security guys come and talk to Shabazz mom, and then there's like
that
other.
security.
There's like,
Wait, whoa! You got to break this down for me. So, Soup to Nuts, tell me what happened. I saw some photos on Twitter, but I was having a little bit of an anxiety attack. So I when watching everything. So kind of break this down. I want to hear the story, Soup to Nuts.
all right, so I kind of caught like after the security showed up because I was into the game, so I saw it at the corner of my eye, and I just see these guys with the big yellow shirts, like both of them talking to Shabaz's mom. One of them was like coming up really close to her from behind, like from the upper part of the section, and there was another guy that was manning the exit the exit corridor, like where the teams go out. And they were like both talking to her, like one guy behind her, one guy in the exit corridor. And then the guys that were complaining about it were just going back and forth. I mean, obviously I couldn't hear anything. I was a little too far away, but it was going on for a good 5 minutes. And then after the security left, Shabaz's mom was just Carmen. She was just like, like kind of rubbing it in the guy's face, like eating her snacks, kind of like, ha, ha, ha. It was hilarious. And the guys were just like, they had this helpless look on their face, like they couldn't do anything to stop it. It was hilarious. But I mean, everybody around her was also standing. So why the hell are you going to like hone in on her for? Like, I don't get that.
Were these guys like near the back of the section, Basil?
Yeah, like on the corner.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I saw at one point, I saw her turn around. She was like talking up to the back of the section, and that makes more sense now why that was happening. But I mean, come on, we're into Big East season now. Like, if you just want to go and sit and watch the game in peace, just sit on your fucking couch. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I love Climbing Huskies was talking about his seats in section 13 or wherever. I moved over to section 9 so that I could be in that last row. You can like stand leaning against the wall the whole time. Like I just stand, like it's a big game. It doesn't matter that it's Georgetown, and obviously it got a lot closer than we wanted, but all these games freaking matter. That place should be like that all the time, because when it's like that, that's when college basketball's at its best. That's when this team's at its best, and that's why these guys come here. Just be
100%.
fucking loud. Stand. Who cares? It's 2 hours of a game that hopefully you're going to remember for a long time and enjoy. If you don't want to, just go sit in your freaking rich friend's home theater or some shit if that's not what you want to do.
And if
Hey,
you
as
know,
long as you can
teams
stand,
devil's
make it
advocate.
give them a
Sorry, go
lifetime
ahead.
ban. I was just gonna say, if they're against standing, I think you should get a lifetime ban from Gampel Pavillion.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
with you,
like,
bro.
I think they should get the electric chair.
So to play
Yeah, put
devil's
them out of their
advocate,
misery.
just a teeny bit,
yeah.
I'll say this. I think, there's a lot of us here who literally bleed blue for this team, the women's team, etc. Right? I'm not quite sure that that's how everybody else feels. I think, the general stance on the state is that when this team is really good, everybody rallies behind it. And when they're not so good, everybody's kind of like, oh, they're there. And I think that's kind of how the casual fan base is. But let me tell you, man, you look at the crowds that we've seen this year and what we started to see last year. And I think everybody here has been echoing the vibes from tonight. And I'll echo the vibes from some of the other games. And I've mentioned this on Spaces too. I really do feel like it's coming back. Like the games really feel like the games did back in the early 2000s, late 2000s, before everything kind of started to drop off. And I think, my point about being devil's advocate, I think it's going to take a little bit more time for some of the more casual folks to really, really get back into what this program and what this fan base and what this home court advantage used to be. With that being said, though,
I mean, hell, tonight was awesome. That I posted a little video on my feed. I posted a video on my Snapchat for some other people. Man, the crowd was awesome.
Dude,
And I'll say
the
there were a
floor
couple.
was shaking, man. Like
Yeah,
the
man. And
floor.
like there were the couple times where it was like people would start to sit. And I'll say this, Georgetown kept answering, right? Like the crowd kept getting up, and then Georgetown would hit a tough shot and answer right away. But like everybody, like I'll say this, to be positive, there were always instances where people kept standing right back up. Like they sit down and then they're right back up a minute later. And then right at the end, when they started to go on that run and close it out, and when Joey C decided to turn on us, turn into Steph Curry, whoo, that place was rocking, and it was so awesome, and it makes me so happy.
And I want to add really quick, like I don't want to, put everybody under the same umbrella. I know there's certain people that are, they have disabilities and everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's fine. Like there are sections in the arena that accommodate people for that. But if you're able to stand up on your feet, like there's no excuse.
Hey, real quick, I don't want to get too lost, and I think that's one thing that the internet kind of invites that, right? Where it's like you get a couple people that are acting like bozos, and you get about the 45 to 150 people that feel like they're going to leave, and you got to watch them, all the time, kind of do that. I don't know if it's necessarily reflective, but I was just going to echo, sort of what JB's been saying. Like, I definitely feel that the crowd started to get its mojo back, and like we were joking around about this like earlier in the season, like fan base is rusty too, man. Like it's been a while since it's been like UConn, right?
No, that's a great point, because a lot of these guys, I mean, if you look at this college, like the fan base right now, I mean, most of these kids that are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, right, seniors, they were probably in elementary school the last time UConn was good, right? So
if they even remember,
yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing.
If they even really, you got to understand, like a 20-year-old right now, 10 years ago in 2012, a 20-year-old was 10.
If you do the math, it gets real depressing real quick.
Very quickly. And so like this is a whole. I mean, and we've talked about that with the students, but just in general, like it's been a long time, and it's been a while since people have been, and that, like I said, I think that's been, we've touched on it in the past on the spaces before. I think that's been sort of the fun part of the rebuild, right? Is that it's coming back, but it's also got its own kind of unique, very interesting sort of flavor and buzz to itself, right? That it didn't have 20 years ago, even when it was cooking. It's kind of got its own unique and distinct thing, which means, the fan base is evolving and the way people get into it is evolving. And I think all that is healthy and good. I think there's always going to be a library crew, no matter what. Like every fan base is going to have that. I mean, you think we're bad, man? Like you should see a North Carolina crowd.
Yeah,
like,
it's a famous bit down there.
Yeah,
and I think
wine and cheese, big time.
I think for us also, there's the folks that like remember when it was rocking and then it wasn't, or even the ones who don't, and when, like you just alluded to, and it was the lean years, but all heard about it even if they didn't experience it. And now, well, you've got people who are experiencing it again, completely losing their minds because you get to relive your childhood in a way or whatever. Or the people who weren't around for it and get to be like, oh, this is what it was like. Yeah, this is as awesome as you wouldn't shut up about. So I think that just kind of gets it rolling more and more so than, no disrespect, like when Dayton had it rolling the year COVID happened, like that was crazy for them, but they didn't have the basis of knowing being elite or chasing it and actually having it happen. Because the reason this is special is there's never was any guarantee that this was going to work. We thought, and we're hopeful, and we're optimistic, but that was in no means a guarantee of success. And the fact that it seems to be happening means, enjoy it while it's happening. One thing I'm not enjoying, HotBalls, I have to bring in the soundboard here. One moment. Oregon is losing by 11 at home to Utah Valley.
Don't do that, Oregon. No.
Well, bad for us. Full 40, if Temple losing was bad, Oregon losing to Utah Valley, not also super bad. So That's late first half, down 11 on the. Well, it's on the Pac-12 network, so no one will see it. So that's.
Thankfully, I don't get the Pac-12 network. That's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Being
Mountain West is the only thing that matters to me.
Being only like a couple days into Big East play, and I think we saw it tonight with Georgetown, just like how they came into the season 5-7, or tonight 5-7. Who are you guys most nervous about first glance as we sit here on December 20th?
Oh, that's tough for me to say.
Is it game or like individual opponent? Because I know
I
that.
guess like when we're all sitting here and it's St. Patrick's Day or whatever that week is before the Big East tournament. Like who do you think will be the most nervous to face in the Big East tournament?
Nova, and I say that for a couple reasons. Number one, I think in a really weird way, their injury problems could be a little bit of a strategic advantage for them heading into conference play because there's not going to be a lot of film on Whitmore. And then when Justin Moore's back, we've seen Moore in the past, but like, what's Moore look like with this group around him, right? And he's really the primary facilitator on that team, and that's really what they're lacking right now. And having that facilitator, it completely changes how you handle Caleb Daniels. Eric Dixon will not be left on an island. That guy gets the fucking hard hat of the year award. That poor bastard has been all by himself all year and played really well for the most part. And I think Moore will help them defensively as well. And so I think they're going to be a little bit, they've got some talent. They're going to be a little bit of a tougher scout, but there's also going to be a really intense need for them to win. Like we were talking about it with Full 40 last night. Like my concern with Villanova isn't them getting better. They're going to get better. They could end the year really fucking good, but like they've got resume issues right now. Like they've got wins that hurt them. I mean, they didn't win the Delaware State game by a lot of points. They actually fell, I think, 10 spots in KenPom because they didn't win the Delaware State game by enough. So like there's games in there that hurt them. So like they have to win a lot of games, and they're going to be playing particularly desperate with a team that, look, I mean, these guys are Final Four vets, man. Like Caleb Daniels, Dixon, Justin Moore. These guys have been around for a while. And Cam Whitmore, I mean, I knew he was going to be good. He's a fucking freak. Like he's the kind of guy that could single-handedly win 5 games for them. And
we play them next week, right? We play them next Wednesday, right?
We play them next Wednesday. And so, I mean, that's a team that, later on down the line, like if we're going to Madison Square Garden, I'm not particularly interested in seeing them. And I think we also get them the last game of the season on the road. And that's where you can pick up losses, right? It's the second game coming back where you're on the road and the team's already had an opportunity to see you, right? You get to that last game of the year, we may not need it. You know what I mean? And so you're on the road, you're heading to the postseason, it'd be great to win kind of thing. But like, they're going to be like jackals. So, I mean, I'm a little intrigued to see them now. The flip side with Nova, they've got to stay healthy and they have like no margin for error. Like they can't go out and like lose 2 or 3 in a row or take like a particularly bad loss. And for as good as they've been in the last 5-6 years, like Nova, Full 40's talked about it a lot, where they have a night a year where they just don't show up, and it happens, right? That's part of 17 to 20-year-olds playing college basketball. But they make me nervous.
I almost think that's part of being an elite program, almost, because you just dump it all into one night and then you don't worry about it. You just don't even bother with the tape, and you don't want to say that when UConn's 13-0 and you hope nothing ever happens. But like, you want to have one bad night rather than 3 or 4 kind of bad nights, and you can just dump it. My backup to that, I agree with you. We rag on them because they look like shit, but man, we've still never beaten Creighton, and like they're missing, Kalkbrenner, and like there's questions about that team. I think long term, I completely buy into that. People being worried about them, but like we haven't seen us beat them anywhere. Like they've beaten us at the Garden, at the XL, and at Gampel, and at Omaha. I mean, that's pretty. I joke that they've beaten us everywhere but on the moon, and only because we haven't gotten on the friggin' rocket yet. Like, so Creighton, while I think we should torch them, I would think. I think they're going to be out for blood on January 7th, but I will take a 1-point win. Don't get me wrong. I think if Creighton can get guys back and figure something out, which I'm not saying it will happen. Like, I don't think it'll happen, but it's not an unrealistic ask, given the talent they have. So that would be my other one. I guess with Nova, it's, Andre can guard Cam Whitmore as well as anybody can, but that doesn't mean he's going to be able to do it. That kid is just.
That kid's a lottery pick. A lottery, like a high lottery pick. Like that.
Yeah, and there isn't one of those in the conference, another one. Like, not even really close. I love our guys, and I love Adama and all that, but like top 5, no, that's not it. So Nova's what I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, Nova's got me a little bit, and I kind of agree on Creighton. I'm just I still think we're kind of in the process of trying to figure out what they look like. They're going to have, apparently Kalkbrenner is going to be playing this weekend. So that's the word on the street. Kalkbrenner will be back. They have DePaul. They've got a couple games they can kind of figure it the fuck out.
That's the other reason.
Coming up.
That's the other reason I'm kind of keeping an eye on them. When I looked at their schedule, I actually was less down on them because they've got DePaul, Butler, and then I forgot the third one.
It's either us or it's us and then Georgetown.
But I immediately was like, they're going to be looking at, they're going to be 3-1 in the league. They're going to be right there.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see Klingon with Kalkbrenner.
Well, yeah, it's still wild to me that if you go into the Ken Palm comps, I haven't looked after tonight. They are actually Kalkbrenner last year and Donovan this year. It's like a face-off. TCF can get on that. He's good or Penfield. You guys are good at photo editing. If you can do the face-off movie poster, but with Ryan Kalkbrenner and Donovan Klingon, that's probably a big ask. But yeah, that January 7th is going to be a scene, man, one way or the other. Can't wait.
If you make that, I will put it on a poster and bring it to the game and hold it in the front row. So someone get on it.
Let's do it.
Quick, that'll be interesting. I'm quietly paying attention to Marquette as well.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, look, you could rag on them tonight. They lost in double OT at a team that's won 26-27 at home. As much as if anything, it was because they were getting run out the gym the first 10 minutes when I was like just trying to follow it because I'm like, I'll turn to this one. UConn's up 30, and of course that didn't happen. But I'm actually impressed with Marquette tonight, even in defeat, because they could have easily just gotten demolished in that game, but they fought back.
Did you see that Marquette only had 19 free throws compared to Providence's 49?
Oh, wow, that's surprising.
That was brought up by Jared, who coincidentally had Marquette plus 1.5. So he was quick to
Dunk's
note
just
that.
such a fucking ridiculous place now. Like, it really is. Like, it's a hot atmosphere, but like just the sheer amount of fucking absolute bullshit that goes on during Providence home games is wild. Not just like the officiating. They get a lot of home cooking from the officials, but like the replay things breaking, the leaks in the floor, like it is a fucking absolute absurd shithole. The dump. Like, what a fucking place to play basketball.
And they charge $100 a ticket for the upper level seats.
Yeah.
They can't wait to see what they're going to charge for the January 4th game, which is going to be a scene and a half, man.
StubHub was as low as 70 today.
You might want to jump on it. It's probably not going to go down. So
the numbers are reflective of what HotBalls just said. Providence is 22nd in the nation in free throw attempts to field goal attempts. And on defense, they rank 26th, which means they are right up there as a team that does not send teams to the line, but goes to the line quite a bit. And
seems kind of lucky to me. But
yeah, I'd say there's quite a bit of luck of the Friars going on.
Where are the Friars on the low luck rating this year?
Oh, I got it. One sec. By the way, HotBalls, I don't know if you have a game on. I'll tell you which one I have. They are 173, but they're positive. See, once you get for a majority of teams, like probably 90%, basically everyone's around slightly above or slightly below. It's like negligible. It's the ones who are like Providence is 173. UConn is 171. It is okay. I haven't refreshed. It's 1/1000th of a difference, which is what it is for most teams. What you get that last year was funny is then you get some teams where it's just out of control, completely wild. This year, in terms of major conference, there's Mizzou is up there. I'm trying to look for Fordham is, which isn't surprising. The 11-1 without Kyle Neptune, Fordham Rams. Trying to see who else. Miami is pretty high up there. I'll kind of lack them at the team. In terms of the opposite end, maybe the funniest thing that could possibly happen. Of course, 2 Pac-12 teams are in the 3 unluckiest teams in the country, because that makes sense. Stanford and Washington State. Actually, Stanford, Samford, and then Washington State. So, and Rutgers is 7th from the bottom. Cody will like that. So another thing for that fan base to be pissed off about. But
yeah, no luck, all skill and beating their stupid ass. I'll be on mute. My bad.
No, it's cool. Before we get to HotBalls, I don't know what game you have on. I decided to throw Joey's old guys some love tonight, given what we saw.
Yeah, I'm watching San Diego and Riverside right now.
Did you see what did you? Yeah, not huge in Riverside, which is barely Division I. Did you see the thing I just tweeted about this kid on San Diego, though?
No. What's up with him?
All right. So I noticed in the box score, San Diego has a guard who is a junior. His name is, I know I'm going to bangle this. I feel bad. He's from Barcelona. Sekou Sissoko Jawara. He's
I love the name.
He's a guard. He's 6'3", 210, junior. He's 4 for 5 from 3. In his career, he is a 40% three-point shooter. This is his 3rd school, and it is his 4th year, 3rd school. At LMU, 35%. 2 years at Weber State, 41% from 3. This year at San Diego, presumably as Joey's replacement, he's shooting 40% from 3. This is who I would like next. I would like to open a San Diego pipeline. I want
San Diego,
triple
A affiliate of the UConn Huskies basketball team.
They owe us after that 08 bullshit. I want their stunning 3-point. This kid's an incredible 3-point shooter, and it would be his 4th school in 5 years. Sekou Sissoko Jawara.
I thought Joey had the COVID. Yeah, I was going to ask, does Joey have the COVID year?
Oh, God,
no, Joey's done after this year. I think Joey's 1 year with us.
Oh,
I still disagree. No, I came to the conclusion tonight. He's not allowed to leave. No, bullshit. He's not the number of years we had to watch. I don't want to name guys. We only get one of that guy. That's not fair. No, he's not allowed to leave.
Joey's going to light the Argentinian league on fire.
Oh my God, Jawara, leak out, layup. Oh, get this kid the stores. Fabulous.
For anyone interested, I'm about to log off, but if anyone was wondering, Florida lost by 9 to Oklahoma at the Jumpman Invitational.
With the black court. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's crowd. The one.
Yep. Yeah. No, real good use of everyone's time there.
Yeah.
Fucking joke.
Yeah, that was fun.
Have a good one, Tim. Though.
Yep, always a pleasure, friends.
Don't push your luck. No, I'm kidding. All right, HotBalls. I don't know if you're gonna bring anyone else in, but
yeah, we got two more going here.
Well, I also was gonna ask if you wanted to let Cody out of the cage yet or not, or let him stew a little more.
Yeah, no, let's just get Matt and Seabash in here. Let's get Cody piping hot, and then we'll bring him in. Hopefully, he'll be crying by then. So Matt, man, you've been a good boy. Give us your worst.
So I want to thank you guys for unintentionally giving us 2 very good sport business use cases the last couple nights, between the fan engagement one here and then the review of Georgetown athletics last night. Is very riveting stuff.
Well, thank you. I've never had anybody refer to my content or our content as riveting, but I'll take the compliment. I'm gonna put that in my bio, producer of riveting content.
Yeah, we've got that. We've got people mentioning in DMs. Have any of the reporters noted that Donovan got his teeth knocked out tonight, and it just came up from his dad in a space? Yeah, we're breaking barriers we never intended with this HotBalls, but like I keep saying, people enjoy it, so we'll just keep on doing it until we get banned. I mean, that will happen, but until that happens, we'll keep doing it.
Well, I just want to learn more about the fan engagement. Being a young whippersnapper here of only 4 years removed from my college days, just understand more about that fan engagement side from those early 2010s, late 2000s. Because from what I've seen, it does feel like the momentum's coming back.
Well, yeah. I mean, having a top 2 team helps
Oh,
immensely.
obviously. Top
You
2
know,
team, top
so
10
that's a big
hockey
thing. I mean,
program.
like, yeah. I
Have
mean,
to throw the ice bus
it's
in.
you know, I don't, well, and even the Olympic sports were never as big as they are now. I mean, that's even baseball is starting to kind of quietly become a thing, and ice bus is starting to quietly become a thing, and like, there's a lot of really cool, little pieces, and it's kind of funny even watching UConn Twitter. It's like, I think basketball clearly drives the bus here, right? But like a lot of the Twitter accounts, like everybody seems to kind of have their side piece. Right, which
Yeah,
is like
true.
HurleyMania is a big UConn hockey guy. Like I'm a big UConn baseball guy. Like so is
Oh, I'm
Larry.
number 2 on
Like
the ice bus with HurleyMania too.
Yeah,
We were at the
you're my alternate captain. I know you're ready to step in.
we were at the BU game. It was myself, HurleyMania. I didn't even know it was HurleyMania, and then Puneet down the way, and we ended up just streaming streaming the hockey game like for most of the second half.
Oh, the basketball game. Yeah, no, we've all got HotBalls described it well. Like I'll give Tim soccer, not to make him angry, but I know right now it does. Like I'm a soccer guy too, but I'll defer to Tim. We don't have a softball person yet, but I think we can work on that. We don't have a volleyball person, but yeah, every character has got like their area of expertise. Like I'll give Jared football. We all come together on UConn basketball and women's basketball and men's, but like, yeah, we've also got like our minor, like my minor is ice bus.
It's our mistress, right? Like it's
yeah,
it's what it is. And that
XL
never
Center,
that years ago though, like 20, 30 years ago, like that was not a thing. Like nobody was really paying attention to any of that stuff.
And part of that's the growth in media that you can now pretty easily.
Yeah.
Look, Flow Sports sucks, but the fact that you can watch every UConn baseball game anywhere in the world is kind of fucking nuts. Like I still hate the Flow Sports deal, but it's a very first world problem. The fact that you can do that's pretty amazing.
You should watch me watching OVC baseball in the spring. It's the best.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's I
when
think
I'm at the XL Center for Ice Bus, I love Goodfellas. But UConn basketball's for the wives, but Ice Bus is for the girlfriends. Okay, like that's my
that's what it is, man. But like
I think use that line.
I think generationally, it's a really interesting spread, and I'm gonna bring Steve in here because he'll probably be able to speak to it a little bit too. But I think there's an old because we were talking about a lot of the library fans, and I think there is an older generation of UConn fans that like UConn basketball, even before it got good, was always popular. Like it's always been a thing that everybody's enjoyed doing. It didn't get to like ballistic levels until obviously the team took off. But like, I do think there's an older section of the fan base that just like they're not even, and they were this way even in the 90s and early 2000s. Like they just go with the flow, man. They're kind of glad. There's an element with them of like just being glad to be here whenever it's good, right? Because like they were there when it wasn't great, and it was just kind of something to do, on the side. And, so they're a little bit of the go with the flow. And then I think there's this, and I think that makes up the meat and potatoes of the fan base right now. But a lot of people that you see in here where it's like, I mean, I think I'm kind of prototypical HurleyMania, Netchi, people that grew up with it as it got good, right? Like some of my bigger, earlier sports memories were, the NIT team and then the dream season and like kind of growing up with it, in real time as it happened. I wasn't, I consciously remember like 2 of Calhoun's early years, but like my prime time as a kid were, really the early 90s, and really getting into it and then getting older in high school and college and going absolutely batshit for it. I mean, it consumed my fucking life, man. Like I can't even tell you. I mean, I still have, remember Sports Illustrated used to do the old Chevy brackets in the middle? And like, I used to treat them like they were the 10 fucking commandments.
Yeah,
when I was filling out brackets, like I would be so neat with how like I filled everything out. Like I'd have all these scribble brackets and shit, but like I'd be so neat and official as to how I filled it out, and I still have them all.
It had to be in the box. I can't believe this. I did the same shit. Holy fuck! No wonder.
Oh, like I mean, and I remember trying to get the most anxiety-inducing part of March for me, outside of the games, was trying to get the bracket
out of the magazine without ripping it in the middle. Like I
Mm.
wanted it to be like perfect, right? And I mean, I remember putting it in a folder. Like I remember when we went down in '94, my grandparents they used to like rent a place in West Palm Beach, and I remember being in '94. I remember going down, and that was obviously when we lost to Florida in the regionals. And I didn't go to the game, but I was in Florida for the whole shitty experience. And like I remember that whole week so vividly. Like that night, I made a big deal out of it. Like I remember making a big deal to my mom about like making sure the bracket was perfect and getting really worried about it when she wanted to pack it in the suitcase to go on the plane on the way down because I didn't want to fuck it up. So I literally carried it through the fucking airport like it was the tent, like it was the Ark of the Covenant. And I remember getting down to Florida. And this is back when Pizza Hut used to run those awesome basketball promotions, right? Where they do like a Final Four basketball every year. And
I
I
love
waited
those.
to the Sweet 16 to get that Florida game to get Pizza Hut that night to get my fucking basketball. Like I had it all planned out. Like it was a whole thing. And like my whole experience growing up, it was all of that. My dad was a big New York Yankees fan. I was a big Red Sox fan, right? And so obviously baseball was the thing that we did in the summer, but we used to fight like cats and dogs. My dad was actually kind of a mean asshole when it came to baseball, which was wicked funny in hindsight. Like I remember when Aaron Boone hit the walk-off home run on Tim Wakefield. I was in grad school at the time, and my dad's like literally called my voicemail 27 times. It was like,
Yeah,
he knew I was in
all
class,
like
and he's like,
that.
he goes, this is Ted Williams calling from your freezer, just calling to ask you if you had seen how the game ended last night. Give me a call back when you get a chance. Like, I mean, I came back from classes, and that's so we had like this real combative baseball relationship. And me and my dad never fought about anything, but like baseball was bad. Like my mom used to get angry. So, but UConn basketball is what we did together. That and the Whalers, and I remember the night they won the national championship. I mean, I remember my dad like literally laying down on the ground 3 feet from the fucking TV, like on his stomach, like he was almost like in a push-up position, shrieking, like not even screaming things that just making like like during the game, and like them winning and him ripping open the front porch door and literally just bolting off down the street, like just watching my father disappear into the black, like, after Trajan Langdon tripped. Like those are some of my most formative experiences and memories as a child. The best day I ever had with my dad. I remember the date. I remember everything that happened that day. But I remember going to a Whalers game. We went to go see him play. This is '97, I want to say. This was the last year they were there.
The end.
And we went to go see him play the Ottawa Senators in the afternoon. And we got there and we didn't have tickets. So we bought tickets right in the entrance of the Civic Center Mall there off some fucking scalper that smelled like cat pee. And he's like, by the way, I've got tickets later tonight to the UConn Miami game out in Gampel. I'm just trying to get rid of them. We were a little late to the game. He goes, I'll give them to you face value. And they were like $25 each. And we had actually gone to the game early that day because we had a family function later that night that mom was just all jacked up about. And so we're like, well, we'll go to the hockey game and then we can make it back for that. I'll never forget the scalper. He was wearing one of those old starter Bruins jackets too. And my dad just looks at me and goes, your mom's going to fucking absolutely want to divorce me. He goes, we'll take the tickets. And I remember going out there and I remember him taking me to Huskies. Speaking of
Oh
Huskies
my
today.
God.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And well, my dad was an alcoholic. So he like ran Alcoholics Anonymous, like as a volunteer in the chapter. I never saw him take a drink in my entire life. It was before I was born. But he thought it was just like a restaurant. So like there's me and dad in the middle of the fucking bar, like just hanging out before the game. And he had one of those old car phones, right? Remember the old like fucking like sling it over your shoulder things?
I actually had one.
Yeah, well, it was like $3 a minute to use it, and it never worked anywhere. And so like the only place you could really get service was Hartford. So like dad's calling my mom and like faking static into the mouthpiece of the phone, like just trying to like whatever about it. She didn't talk to him for a week, and it was absolutely worth it. And so like some of my most vivid formative memories as a kid are
are that. I mean, I remember the first time I fucking flew the coop and did like an insane road trip in 1998. Like, I remember just leaving college and going fucking getting in the car that afternoon, and I was like, do we want to go like see the UConn Washington game? Talking to my buddies, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, let's
So,
just fucking go. I'm like, all
so
right,
before I get into the next question, I do want to
So
throw
wait,
in
you
one
were
bar.
you were at I didn't know this. You were at the Greensboro.
Yeah, for
Oh wow,
Richard Hamilton's. I was there
Wow.
for it, and I was
wow.
there
So
for the
we
flu game. We drove legitimately, like spontaneously decided 10 o'clock at night the night before, and we're like, you know what, fuck it, let's just
Oh,
go.
that's incredible.
Like, and like,
amazing,
so my
creepy
buddy was
things.
hammered, so we had him like in the bed of the truck driving down the Merritt Parkway. We had to pull over like 6 times before we got to New York for him to piss because he had drank so much. And like, I remember driving. We actually drove down kind of through Delaware, and I remember being like, we got lost, so we had to kind of come back around the Chesapeake Bay. Like, the whole thing was a shit show, but like, we got there and got games. We got tickets to the game and everything. But like, formative memories that I had in college and in, you know, with my parents and as a child, and like the things that I still have that like they were in my bedroom growing up. Like, I can't let them go. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, there's just, I have a whole trunk of shit that I can't even fit in my office of just UConn stuff that I don't know where I'm ever going to put it. And I'm never going to get rid of it, you
Yeah, I have
know?
the
And
same thing
so,
in my
Yeah.
basement. This is
but that,
creeping me out because
generation of fans that kind of grew up with it, like, you know, I think we're the ones that are like the most hardcore about the Big East. We're the most hardcore about the whole fucking stupid thing, you know? And, you know, I feel like when it fell off, it was more than just us being terrible. Like, when we lost the Big East, like, that was worse than losing the Whalers. Like, I couldn't even imagine I mean, I literally was lost in 2014 when we won the national title, as fun as that was. Like, I just remember just looking at the schedule and be like, how the fuck is Tulane in our league? Like,
So
why
that
are
was
we
when I
playing
was an
Tulsa?
undergrad. I
Yeah.
had like the real peak of the American years, and I caught the last three of Ollie in the first year of Hurley. I will throw in one bar story though before I forget. I never really frequented the bars when I was an undergrad, but I did find myself one night at Ted's, the night of game one of the 2018 World Series, with the head of the Connecticut Bar Association eating the barbecue chicken onion ring pizza, watching the game, which is still like one of the craziest stories I can tell from
was
my
that the
time
one that
there.
went like 48 innings?
That was game one where it was just like 12-8 Sox. It was at Fenway.
Oh, okay. But no,
Yeah.
this is wild. Like hot balls, discovering these things. Like you were at that Washington game. I was at the Washington game in '06. This is just creepy. Like it's wild. The two crazy buzzer beaters against Washington, and I also have a trunk full of stuff in my basement, UConn related. It's newer for me. It's pretty simple. The first game I remember where it was like I followed a little before then, but the first time I was like, I have to watch this game. I have to watch it, and I did it in the middle of like a family party. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to stay in the car and watch this game that I watched end to end was the Allen 96 Big East tournament game. And if you want a pretty good way to mainline real quick, getting emotionally involved with that as your first full on emotional experience, like fully booked for it, that'll do it. The possibly the greatest game in Big East history. Yeah, I followed a little before then because I moved to Connecticut in '95, so or '94 rather. So like I kind of came. It was like I just showed up in the middle of the party. I'm like, I'm living in New York City. We got the Knicks. I'm like, what What? I know college basketball is a thing. That's where the Knicks get their players from. But there's a team here. They're really good. So I started to get into it in '94, '95, which is pretty friggin' not bad teams to get you into it. But then building up to that '96 final, and it was hook, line, and sinker from then on. But yeah, that's mine. I'm a much easier. Hot Balls had a much longer and more emotional life story with it. Mine was pretty freaking simple. Like the first
Which
women's game
Hot
I ever.
Balls was incredible. And
Yeah, it
I
was.
think from what I want to understand is now that we have this momentum back, how can we essentially bring that momentum to a whole new level, have it be taught to the undergrad students? Because I've seen And I saw it from my time at the band. The band was really the catalyst for getting the energy going because the students would just stand there and look at their phones. Now it seems like there's an opportunity for us to really reinvent the fan experience.
Well, I think that's up to them. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest with you. Like, there's a part of me that, like, you know, I like busting the kids' balls because they need it, and they just need somebody to ride them and give them shit. It's character building on my part, but like, they need to come up with it on their own and make that theirs. We had ours. That was our thing, right? Like, you know, that you know, we as fans and students did back then, and that was then. And there's some pretty cool traditions. I hope they dig some of the older ones up and maybe bring some of them back, but like, I hope they make some of the shit on their own. That's theirs. Like, this is, I think, part of the fun of college sports is the shared generational experience. But like, what I've really enjoyed, again, and just to reiterate it, about the Hurley years, is it's this reemergence. So like, there's this restoration, and I think, you know, from, I don't want to call us the older fans are more of the library crew. Like, they've been doing this for years, right? And then there's the generation, you know, your Gen X, your Gen Y, your, you know, early millennials that kind of grew up with this, right? And I think there's just a ferocity to that, to us, in terms of coming back because we had it ripped away. You know, like, it's never, even when we won the national title in 11 and 14, like, there's just instability. And, you know, there's the NCAA investigation, and then Calhoun stepping down, and then the fucking ban year, and then the American Athletic Conference, and then the Ollie years. Like, it just wasn't smooth sailing, you know, and it just felt like everything that you'd really kind of held dear to it got sucked out of it, right? And so, to, you know, I've said it a lot of times on this spaces before, like, the toughest part about getting older is things get taken from you, and things that you experienced and you loved growing up, and that are like, at a point in your life, just seem like these bedrock things that could never go away, right? Or you could never imagine them not being a thing, go away, you know? And so, to be able to kind of have that second shot, and to be able to, like, be back at that point, like, that's not normal in life, right? And so I think that's the thing for me. I think there's a ferocity and, like, almost a desperation from our generation of fans to, like, cling on to this. Like, we're lucky to have this back. Like, I mean, look at Indiana. They've never really got their group back. UNLV fell off the fucking cliff. Like, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on about all the teams. I mean, I know this might be
look at what's happening to Duke now.
DePaul was the number one team in the country in 1982. So, like, to put some shit, look at Georgetown, like, you know, like, Duke's struggling, Kentucky's trying to find, like, you know, not that those schools have dropped off, but there's only ever been, like, Kansas, when we look at the totality of the history of college basketball, it's really the only school that's ever been able to maintain it soup to nuts. Even Kentucky's had periods. I mean, Kentucky was a shit show in the late 80s and early 90s up until Pitino got there. And so, like, you know, it's tough to get it back. And so I think there's this ultra clinginess and ownership, and, like, just this almost relief from our generation. For this generation, it's a totally brand new experience. It's growing up with it all over again. Maybe they had a little bit of a taste of it when they were kids, but, like, you know, it's different when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, and then when you're, you know, into your formative years, when you're like 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, where you're really processing these memories and putting them together, and, like, their character developing moments. They influence your personality, right? Like,
It's
it's
really
different.
like the drives or increases fan engagement is like games like tonight where you go to Gampel and it gets insane and people get hooked, and like HotBalls was saying, like, kids, it becomes a formative memory for them, and they're like, this is amazing, right? And for the students, like, some kids camped out a couple of weeks ago, you know, as this gets and snowballs and stuff, like, more kids are going to start doing that. And it's all about building the memories, building the passion, and it's going to happen on its own, I think.
Yeah, I first started watching the team like 1998, 99 when they won the whole thing the first time. And the first thing I remember, one amazing memory I remember, is just like the day after they won it, I go like I get on the bus to school. I was in 7th grade at the time. I was 13 years old, and we're just all like going nuts on the school bus and like yelling UConn like out the out the windows. Like we had like signs that we made. And we were like putting the signs on the windows and like trying to get people to honk. It was just like ever since then, like I haven't missed a game.
Yeah, and I mean it's so weird, like the things that you remember too. Like I remember in the early '90s. This is the early '90s, so I was in elementary-ish school right around now then, and I remember our art teacher, Mrs. Church, was another big like kind of fanatic UConn-aholic, right? And she was like this. She was just a huge woman. She was fucking gigantic, and she was the art teacher, and like she used to like not give a fuck about class during the early part of the NCAA tournament. And I remember one year, it was '94. I remember going to watch.
They wheel in the TV cart.
UConn and Ryder. No, we went up to the library because she wanted comfy
Oh.
seats. And like, but I remember her like teasing that we were gonna do shit. And like, just everybody's in there, like constipated face. Like, we got to get out of here. We got to go watch the game. Like, what are we doing? What's she doing? Why is she doing this to us? Right. And like, she goes over this whole assignment and everything. She's like, I'm just kidding. Let's get the hell out of here. We got to go watch the game. And I remember watching, I think it was UConn and Ryder in the first
round.
round.
Ryder gave him kind of a fight in that
game.
Yeah,
it was Ryder. And then we also, I think that day, Miami of Ohio upset somebody as a 12 seed. And so right prior to that game, it was in Dayton. And I remember everybody freaking out watching that. But like, it's silly shit like that, you know, that hooks you. But I mean, you know, from a fan engagement standpoint, like, you know, the best part about college sports is it brings people together, you know, and helps you meet all these people from all sorts of crazy, silly, stupid walks of life. And, you know, that's what makes it such a fun experience. And I think, you know, kind of watching the emergence of UConn Twitter is a kind of fucking absolute idiot farm.
I have sort of a funny story actually. Before I forget, like we went to the championship parade. I went with my sister because my sister and her current husband now, they were engaged, but they were about 11 years ahead of me. So I was 13, and they take me to the parade at Hartford. And my sister has, you know, like those traditional like film cameras, right? Like she has like the super zoom lens on. She's taking all these pictures of the parade floats, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm getting such great pictures of Jake Voskuhl and his hair." And and we get home, and the camera didn't have any film in it.
Oh,
yeah.
No. Well, yeah.
That's crushing for a woman in the late '90s.
Yeah, especially Jake Voskuhl's status. Jake Voskuhl and PJ Stock were incredibly
popular. Yeah, he had that
popular.
NSYNC hair.
I was middle school, or that was high school for me, actually, '99, sophomore year. But to what Matt's original point was, like, you know, kind of like Hot Balls, I'll, you know, get on the students, but only because I want the energy. But it's important to note, like, I don't actually necessarily, and I kind of wish more people felt this way, I don't need the students to do the same stuff. What's exciting for me is watching what they do with it, as long as it's the energy, because in truth, we're all on this ride, whatever, but it's to any students who might be listening, God knows why. It really is your team. Like the 06 team didn't end great, but that was my team, the 04 team in a way, because when I was there, but like, I want to see what the kids there now do with it. And I really don't want the old man yells at cloud thing. Like, they don't have to do the same chance. I want to see what they come up with, because you know, that's what makes it unique. That's part of why, like, I don't want to get into the debate. I don't need jock jams forever. Like, I want to.
I do.
Want to let. Okay,
you take
fine.
that shit away from me, I'll fucking light the building on fire. Give me jock jams.
Fair.
That's the one thing I'm going to be old man at club.
In terms of chance or stuff, like, I'm excited to see where these kids take it, because I'm like the kind of person that like thinks, in general, kids don't get enough credit for how smart they are or their creativity. Like, I want to see where you guys go with it, because I trust that you will. I'm excited to see a whole new generation kind of fall in love with this thing and how crazy it is. And unfortunately, you don't get your heart broken. It'll happen at some point, and you will be absolutely physically ill for that whole night. And when that happens, congratulations, you're in, because that's how
So
you
it's
know.
more about giving them the resources to do weird and crazy shit.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to get away from it. When I say I can't speak to that, it's I literally can't, like, I don't know. A lot of that it's always been self-starter stuff. Like, an example is, I don't need the kids to camp out, but that's not, getting a subsidy from athletics. Athletics agreeing not to have the cops, kick their tent out. Like, it's really always been a self-starter thing. That's one of the things I actually love about college sports, is that it's naturally organic. Look, we don't want it to now, having the best team in the country, but one of the things that makes it great is what makes it kind of heartbreaking too, is the constant turnover. Like, it's always, even if things are bad, even Georgetown can go, well, in a couple of years there'll be new players and maybe it'll be better, or you get to watch kids, grow up, and eventually, they friggin' leave, and it's sad, but it's also kind of, how life works. And
And
so
here's the other.
how these things develop is going to be on the students. I'm all for institutional support, but I don't know
Yeah, I
what,
mean,
like,
a
that
lot of
is.
it's just being spontaneous, man. Like when I was, and part of, hot balls' success a little bit, is sort of,
God, he's third person.
derived from the fact that, I mean, number one, I'm insane online, but the other thing is, like, at a point that I kind of try to drive through to people a lot, and look, Sage talks about it a lot in UMass spaces. Like, I don't think fans and students understand how much power they have to kind of steer what this thing is from a cultural standpoint, right? Like, I joke around about it being cyberbullying and stuff like that, but, like, when students get together and they do something fucking insane, like, in a fun way, you know how much the institution's going to do to really try to stop it? Not a lot. Like, there just comes a point where, like, they might try to fuck with it a little bit, but, like, there's only so much they can do at the end of the day before they start to kind of go with it. And money talks, bullshit walks, right? Engagement is what all these schools, I mean, you want to talk about what everybody's fucking worrying about, not just in development, but in college sports. It's engagement, 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 and because it's tough, man. I mean, you go to UMass has got a wild tailgating scene, and everybody goes home. They don't go to the fucking games. They go to drink at the fucking tailgate, and they go back to the dorm. And it's not the only, obviously UMass football sucks, so he wants to sit through that. But they're having the same problems in a lot of places with attendance and all of these things. So these institutions, man, they are like a fucking guy lost in the desert wanting engagement. And a lot of institutions are not the most creative when it comes to, finding this stuff. And in their defense, it's really hard to do that and, like, be organic about it, right? Like, where it
Exactly.
feels like forced fun, or like, we came up with this, that nothing makes me crazier than when I hear a college administrator talk about, well, we're going to make a new tradition. That's not how it fucking works, bozo. Like, and yeah, athletic departments know that, and look, they're there to run the sports and the logistics and, like, make sure James Booknight doesn't attack a referee. Like, they're worried about whether the stupid fucking anthem singer is going to make it there on time. Like, every college athletics department in its own way, shape, and form is a shit show behind the scenes, right? And so, like, a lot of them are just trying to survive their fucking day and, like, get the game off and have it be a thing, right? And yeah, there's marketers and there's guys that you want to do cool, fun things. And our market, our athletic department historically has never been very good at it. They're getting a lot better when it comes to social media. I mean, football, basketball is like a completely different galaxy than it was 2 years ago, right? But,
Yeah.
like, on the other end of things, like, do you know why that happened? Because everybody started squawking, bitching, crying, and going fucking nuts about it here. And
Yeah.
so, like, they saw it and were like, oh shit, these bozos will eat this up. Like, maybe we should invest some time and money, create some content for them to talk about. And, like, all of this engagement, like the creativity and stuff that's going to be behind it. Like, Dave's coming out here and tweeting, like, yeah, who should we have host some shit on UConn Plus? And it's Jarrett that people want to see. Like, not a guy at the athletic department, not our play-by-play guys. Like, some bozo they saw on Twitter that runs a podcast that everybody really likes. But the point being I'm a bozo. HurleyMania is a bozo. But my point is that like that's the authenticity. That's where the organic nature of it comes from. Like you can't just like sit in a lab at school or in an athletic department or get a bunch of marketing dopes together and like come up with stuff. Like especially in college sports, the best stuff just happens.
There's
The
a
hot
really
sauce thing
simple
just fucking
example.
happened.
I was gonna say, like, there was a time before Big Red and the UCONN chant, right? And I don't know the story, but I'm sure one day at the field house he stood up and he did it, and it's the biggest lasting tradition in UConn basketball. Like everyone knows, after Big Run, you do that chant, right? And it was organic, and it's stuck to this day. And I'm sure the next creative thing is gonna happen soon, right? Like, so
that's exactly how Big Red started.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Matt's not a bad idea, but also like it's like planning for a hurricane. That's a bad example, but like it's just going to happen, and we're not going to be able to like prepare for it. Something beautifully stupid is going to happen, and I can't wait. And I'm kind of like, as long as the students are there with the energy for the entire project, it will manifest itself. If they're not there because the team stinks or we're in a shitty league, then it's not going to happen. Like all you can do is put people in positions. This thing has been, it's a meal being cooked to perfectly, come out with something. And the beauty is we don't know what it is yet, and I can't wait to find out. And it's
speaking
it's
of perfectly cooked meals, how was your steak?
Undercooked,
well done,
but better than the way you people claim it was. There's a student. There's probably 7,000 to 8,000 kids per class at UConn. There's a kid in that group who's going to, off of this year, there's going to be lots of people who will forge lifelong bonds with UConn basketball they would have never considered. And they'll be psychos like us. But a couple of them are going to actually be incredibly successful business people, unlike us. And that's going to lead to some crazy donation down the line and some insane support. The next D'Amelio, if you will.
That's fair.
And that's what this builds in terms of stuff that like high-end, the athletic department cares about because that's their job. And what that will do to, help the program keep going. And not as much like the TV money bullshit we talk about, but stuff like, in 10 or 15 years when the Worth Center needs, upgrades or stuff, there's going to be some kid who hopefully was smart enough to cash out on crypto and isn't in prison, and will give them some donation. And it's all based off of,
no Mwad will get a say respectable job and be like, here you go. Or he'll find Daron Sheffer and like host the greatest sports show in Israeli history, and like he'll be an Asian celebrity and like donate all this money. That's what's going to happen.
When Jared has all his Spotify money from being hired away for like The Ringer, that's the sort of thing. And it's like, it becomes the thing that the people who've got more money than sense and power as a result of it can pour themselves into, because it's not the fucking high pressure job that has made them a lot of money, but like it's the last thing they want to think about at 6 o'clock at night when UConn's playing Georgetown, and that's kind of it's a businessy answer, but that's the other thing that's fun to find out what this team will do for this generation of students. They get to have those bonds that people like Tim and I did, and like other students with, past teams. And it just kind of keeps the thing going.
And my biggest advice to younger students too, and then I'll shut up and let Abby go because she just made a peep there. But
she will absolutely murder us all. It's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get hurt. But the thing I tell everybody, like, do the crazy thing, man. Just go to fucking Madison Square Garden, right? Like, just be like, you know what? I don't really have anything better to do. My fucking essay can wait. Like, I'm gonna go to Seton Hall, or I'm gonna
go to Madison Square Garden or TD Garden.
Like, just go, man. Like, that's where the crazy experiences happen, and then the stupid shit that happens at the gas station, and then Cody's car explodes on the highway, and like, but that's the kind of shit though that like that's what it's all about, right? And in a way, you become your own traveling show, right? And so, and I mean, look, HurleyMania and I talk about it all the time. I mean, we did an entire Spaces in the car together when I made him literally drive a half hour out of his way to come pick me up to take me to a fucking meaningless game in the Gampel Pavillion.
Well, it was
right?
the best non-conference home game. So
yeah, and well, kind of. And
I mean, if it was Hartford, I would have done it too. Yes, fair enough.
But that's the thing. But there's you all will become your own little story, and that's what kind of creates the personality behind it, the memories. Like, yeah, you remember the basketball games and shit like that, but like that's where all the crazy kooky shit comes from. So when people are like, well, teach me about this and teach me about that, the best thing you can teach yourself is get in the fucking car, just go to the games. Like, make irrationally stupid decisions to like be like, I think I'm gonna fucking blow up the test this weekend because the regionals are fucking an hour and a half away. And I think if I get back in time and I'm not too hungover, maybe I can get the assignment in on time, get a C plus, and not nuke my grade. Right? Like, it's little shit like that that's going to create those memories, but it's also going to create the bond and the desire to want to make it, be a thing, and that's my biggest, like, participate, like, get into the Twitter scrums, like, volunteer to talk shit on this stupid fucking show, like, involve yourself, invest your time and your energy in it. Is dumb and is a colossal of a waste of time as it is, because it is, trust me.
Yeah,
But
the key is do not take it seriously. That's the other side of it.
Yes.
Like, please don't think it's important. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I've cannibalized enough people's time, but this has been awesome, extremely engaging stuff. Thank you so much for this. I'll give it up to Abby. 2 more things I do want to add, because I see Mr. Noble in the chat. If you do have any name, image, and likeness questions, please direct them to Mr. Noble's way or myself with Championship Labs. We'd be more than happy to answer them. And 2, please come to the Toscano Family Ice Forum. Come support the hockey team whenever you can. Please, this team's a freaking wagon, and they need all the support that they can get.
Well, sometimes they're a wagon.
Yeah, it got a little less wagony at the end, but I love the
I love the
idea.
hockey contrarians. Yeah,
There are dozens of us.
Game.
Dozens.
Yes, thank you.
Hockey team, unlike the basketball team's got some content.
Yeah. Oh God, too much content. Speaking of content, the queen of content. Please don't kill us, Abby. You were at the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and look what happened. No, it was seeing you and Larry together. That was that was a power of good I didn't think was available in this cold, dark world.
Yeah, he posted a picture and you could see what section he was in, and I'm like, that's right up there. Let me just go say hi. He's like, how'd you find me? But yeah,
7,000 people at the game, and he's like, how did you find me?
Yeah, when Larry drinks enough beer, his fucking brain just falls into about 18 pieces. So that's very on brand.
But we did promise each other when UConn beats Creighton this year, we're dumping corn chowder on our faces. So expect that. Which kind of goes into my main point I wanted to make, which is like, when the kids start doing something crazy, like whatever it is, we just got to let it happen. Even if like we're not into it, like, let them go for it, and no one on here be like a Grinch about what they have happening. Because like when I was at Ohio, we would sell these shirts every year for one football game that said like Bobcat Blackout, and like everyone would go, and it was crazy. And then the administration got like kind of mad about it because people were drinking in said shirts, and they would like shut it down for a while. And it was just like a really vibe killer, if I can be honest. And then this year I'm watching a game and I see like they brought him back, and I'm like, yes, like go kids, like that's fun. But so like we're kind of old on here and have our own thing going. Like, I don't know what the kids are going to come up with, but I'm not going to stand in their way.
Yeah, amen to that. It's
Amen.
Yeah, it's very much. Yeah, I'm not going to do the hello fellow youth thing. Like, I'm old enough to know not to. That I'm like I said earlier, I'm just excited to see a new generation have like their stuff that I don't even want to try and understand. Just it's noise. The team likes it. Yeah, go nuts. Like, yeah. And by the way, Abby, I have to ask if you saw the graphic that was used on tonight's Ohio State women's basketball game, because it does pertain to your prior educational background.
Does it? I did not see.
There was a graphic put up of the remaining undefeated in women's basketball, and Ohio State was fonted as Ohio.
Good.
Abby is going to go launch a tactical nuclear device at somebody now for this. But I saw that, and I immediately thought you were going to be out for blood. So.
Yep.
That's about right. Abby, are you
That's
coming
very
out to any?
succinct.
Abby, are
Threatening.
you coming to? Yeah, she's sharpening the knife as we speak. Abby, are you coming to any basketball games? I know
So
it's kind of
I'm
hard,
definitely coming to the Big East tournament, and then probably not because I'm thinking Houston is going to happen.
Okay, like it. Like I like the idea also.
Yeah.
I like the idea of you also going to Houston Cougars games and just staring a fucking look at everyone, like intimidating them. Like they'll be playing Tulsa and people are like, why is this woman just giving everyone the evil eye?
Yeah, you should just dress up in UConn gear and like buy single seats at Houston and just chill. Like just sit
that
there.
sounds like a great idea.
Don't move. Don't move. Don't do anything. Don't react to anything. Just go to each game. Just decked
Abby,
out.
you probably don't need to
move.
do it for Texas because yeah. By the way, that all just nobody's talked about. So it's just Chris Beard. This is just the thing now. But
I hope not.
Yeah,
that's
me
that's
too.
going to
But
come to an end. I have a feeling it. Look, when you get a contract as big as his, there's a lot that needs to be figured out before you put that buyout together. So
yeah, it's not an easy move.
not exactly just easy. Got to make it clean.
Abby, thrilled that you were able to go to the bowl game even with the outcome what it was. That was really cool because you're as passionate as the rest of us, but you are landlocked, so to speak. We're lucky enough that we're near the team, so I appreciate how fortunate we are to just be able to go to see this team. When folks who are just as passionate can't because they've decided to live in shitty places. No, kidding. Austin's actually great. I love Austin, so.
Yeah, I will say, as happy as I am, we're not stuck in the AAC anymore. I did get to go to games back in those days.
Well, I'm pretty sure they never, ever, ever won a game in the state of Texas. So, outside of beating UT,
No.
but
yeah, I sat in that shitty SMU gym and watched us lose more than once.
Oh God, Dave. Yeah. Well, I that's the thing. If Dave's still here, I want some payback games. I want to schedule SMU now. I would like to.
I don't want to schedule SMU. If we do schedule SMU, though, we have to have cockamamie camera angles. That's what it has to be. It's to be random shots of the fucking tunnels, like just insufferable camera angles the entire game. That's the worst live TV arena I can remember ever being in. It's got to be up there. I'm trying to think of one that's been worse.
And that was after they renovated it. That was what they ended up. It's like what I always used to say about Tulane football with the Oldman Stadium. Like this was the plan. Where this ended up with. But yeah, no, that was it's better days now for us. Less so. I'll let him out of the cage. Cody, they gave it a hell of a go.
I have so many thoughts. I mean, I have a whole rant for this. I mean, it's. I have sound effects for this rant too. There's two, but I mean,
production value, nice.
Overall, I fully just committed myself that I am fully buying in on Tay Davis and Jaquan Sanders, the two freshmen, and that's all I care about on the team. I will come back in 2 years to fully think we can win everything again. But until Shaw actually has people that he likes on the team, I'm going to have to stick watching this team. Which, by the way, starting to show some Shaheen Holloway life. Tough defense, some outlandish loose balls, hustling, cuts everywhere. There's like 20 media timeouts because guys are really just getting bandaged up on the freaking court. The offense isn't there, but Kadari is getting aggressive, which I like, and then he gets into foul trouble, which I don't like. In Hurley, I swear, one day he's going to get this. He's going to drop 40 or something. He's going to get the win too, for you.
I that's all I want. I didn't think it was that. My biggest shock is Kadari didn't take a three tonight, which is like carry this game forward. Like this, honestly, this was one of his. This is probably his best non-UConn performance. Like I haven't watched it back, but the stat line is very impressive.
Well, he did take a mid-range shot later in the game, and he did miss the entire rim. I
Yeah,
don't know
well, that
how.
not great, and the turnover at the end of the game not ideal, but
Oh, like, oh
on
yeah,
balance,
it was. I mean, it was the right play. Just like Kadari get downhill, but he tried to go around the corner that just was never going to happen, and he tripped on himself. The actual last play by Shaheen was quite. It was 3 seconds left. It was a full court. It was a pass all the way to the free throw line, but on the wing to Tyree Samuel from Kadari. He then immediately turns, and Jameer Harris is wide open in the corner, but he just missed it. Because I don't think he thought he was going to get the ball, to be quite honest. That's why. It was like kind of like a panic shot.
well, yeah.
But
Also, 14 of 23 at the line can't happen.
I was about to get to
Cody.
that. So yeah. So free throw shooting. Hold on.
Cody,
1 second.
I was going to ask you a question. So, do you think the players that you guys have, you think they fit the way Shaw wants to play, or you think it's going to take a few years for him to get his own kind of guys?
It's going to take a few years because this is still Kevin Willis' team, my book, and you can just if you watch the game, like they had Shaw in the huddle, he literally yelled at Trey Jackson, like, "Why are you doing that?" And he just like looked away, like kind of pouting. It's like some of these guys, like I can name like 3 or 4 guys. That's all he likes. But free throw shooting, wait,
Yeah,
3-point shooting. 4 of 17 from 3, and then you
4-17
point out
is
the free
bad.
throw. They are 257th in the country in free throw percentage. They are top 5 in getting to the free throw line. They are 320th in 3-point shooting. That's right, 320. That's a good number in my book. But here's the thing: they held Xavier to 5 threes. They shut down Boone, which I didn't think was possible. They shut down Nundry to an extent. Yeah, Fremont to wall off. He had one good game against us in his like 9-year career at Xavier, whatever it is. I don't know. Freaking, I'll let him have this one.
Yeah,
But,
your Ken Palm offensive profile is pretty horrifying. Seton Hall is outside of the top 300 in 3-point shooting, outside the top 200 in 2-point shooting, and outside the top 280 in free throw shooting. Other than that, good defense, no question.
The funny thing is, if you literally just cut our misses in half, sometimes not even that far, we win. We have like 3 or 4 more wins.
Yeah, you're
just off
you're
of
the
free throws.
You're the Big East Denver Broncos. Like if you just clear 75 points, you'll be fine.
And like until RIT gets back from their long break of hockey, I have no wagon to watch. Like I watched UConn tonight. I did watch the game, and I thought Joey California was going to cover the spread himself. Jesus, my roommate, my old roommate had the spread on that.
I was just say, did you have 20? Well, what'd you get it at? Because I saw it got bet down to 21.
He got it at 23, so he was.
That's too many. It's too many points. I know they're awful, but like
he asked me, he's like, what should I bet? I'm like, Seton Hall's going to cover, and he's like, I'm going to take a money line. I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
Jesus Christ! I just realized Joey Calcaterra is a 50. He's now up to 52% from 3 this year.
Can he transfer for like one game? Just one game.
No.
I just want to. I just listen. Let me name you our shooters. It's Jameer Harris, which he's having a career low year. He's dog shit now. He's bottom of the barrel. We have Alamir Dawes. He's streaky as hell, and as far as I'm concerned, he didn't come from Clemson. He came from like Boston College or something. Femi Odekale came from Pitt. That's self-explanatory. So he's not a shooter. So we have 2 shooters. Trey Jackson can shoot. Do we run plays for him to shoot? No. Kadari's allowed to shoot when he's hot, but he didn't shoot today, which I don't.
What about
Jameer
Harris?
I just said bottom of the barrel. Jaquan
I didn't
Sanders,
realize
he's a freshman.
he's 12 of 50. Oh God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he literally against Drexel, he was like 0 of 8 from 3. He just kept chucking them.
Yeah, Seton Hall's pretty brutal to watch offensively. I'm not going to lie. Outside of Kadari Richmond,
Seton Hall has 4 regulars who are under 25% from 3.
Correct.
I'm really there to watch Kadari and KC, more so KC on defense. I mean, once in a while he shows some offense, and then there for Tay Davis and Jaquan Sanders. And if Alexis Yedna's healthy, that's so big just because we get beat up inside. Like, Providence has bullied us, and Xavier decided to put all their bigs in late, and it worked. Like, we're gonna get bullied down there. When Adama Shinogo comes to Newark, he's gonna eat. He's gonna eat the entire city up, which he could have been ruling himself, but no, he had to choose UConn, which definitely was the better decision. Don't get me wrong, but to make me feel better. That's why he should have went to Seton Hall. It would have made me feel better.
That's the first good reason I've heard for why he would have done it, because I do value your happiness. Not enough to want that, but like I do value it. Yeah, no, it's rough, man. But the Hall, staring at 0-2 in the league now. If they want to
make it 0-3,
it doesn't get easier. A week from tonight at Marquette. And then I can't think of a better way to close the year than the St. John's Seton Hall shit show.
That game
at the Prue.
Every time it's on New Year's, I don't know if it was on New Year's 3 years ago, but I know my freshman year, that's when the Shavar Reynolds buzzer beater, when St. John's was like they were storming, quote unquote, through the non-conference that they play. Their non-conference is basically Rutgers non-conference. But yeah, that should be a fun one. But hey, we still own the Garden State as far, and that's that's the only one I care about.
Garden Statement. That's right.
I still have the Deck the Hall shirt. It's on my floor. It is covered in various liquids, and
that's so descriptive.
I'm kidding. It's not much. It's just a bunch of dirt and shit.
But no, I do see the Hall. Early in the new year, they get a Butler, Georgetown, DePaul. Now Georgetown, DePaul back to back on the road. Like that has Sideshow Bob stepping on the rake written all over it. But also, it could be the start of a slightly brighter second half for the Hall, who I still think is a top 8 Big East team.
They're 8. They're 8, teetering towards more so 9 than 7. I mean, like, they can play with anybody, but they literally will lose to anybody. And they really can't, except UConn. They cannot play with UConn. I tell my friends.
No, I'm going to that. I'm telling you that I think UConn will win that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Big East, man. These aren't easy. Like, UConn's gonna have to bring their A game to win that game. I still believe that. I expect it, but I am not assuming it.
Hey, by the way, I was gonna tweet because I did this will prove to you that I watched the UConn game. They had 14 assists in the first half. I'm like, dang. Seton Hall, I don't think has had more than 14 assists in a game in 4 years. But anyways, I was like, but it was at the 10-minute mark. I'm like, they've had 1 assist in the second half. Like, Georgetown has, UConn has just stopped passing the ball around much. And as I say that, Joey California, no look, bounce pass. I'm like, well, here we go. And the rest is history.
Yeah, well, you can take the hint, even though I want for UConn, the guy I tweeted out. There you go. You can take that one. You could take my guy. I know him so well, I can't remember his name. My guy, Sekou Sissoko Jawara. He's only been at 3 schools. He's a 40% career three-point shooter from Barcelona. There you go. That's the guy you want on San Diego.
Just to let you know, I got more excited watching a Cook hit that corner 3 or deep 2 than I did at any point in the Seton Hall game. And I probably
he still has that shot.
And I had a little bit more enjoyment when I was watching the end of Harvard UC Irvine, about 20 minutes ago. That was a good one.
Did you wet your beak on that one? Did you have Harvard?
No, I was in depression and heart complications, so I just looked on my illegal streaming site and saw, Harvard's at UC Irvine. I gotta turn it on.
Harvard's at Allen Fieldhouse Thursday night, and you can attest to how well that usually goes. So,
yeah, thank God my car broke down. I couldn't afford my trip anymore because that would have been brutal.
Hang in there, buddy. That's all. By the way, Steve, I know we brought you in, and we never went to Steve. I feel bad, but
no, we got Seabash in here too. Seabash has been festering in here like a hot dog that won't flush, so we got to get to him.
I'm actually using the charger that Seabash gave me from last Big East tournament. Still using it.
Beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
It's great.
Cody, I love you.
I love you, unlike my basketball team.
So condolences about that, man. I was watching that. That was a tough one.
We'll get the Paul. We'll get the Paul.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, as long as they have like 4 of their 5 starters still injured, I agree. They're kind of hurting right now. But no, so I wanted to just touch on HotBalls. What you kind of said it, and then Abby kind of said it, and Abby and I were talking about it in DMs about the whole fan engagement thing. And just I sort of wanted to give a story from 2014 about that. So with the fan engagement thing, like I think that you guys made the perfect point, which is you just got to go do the dumb thing, whatever that is. And you can't worry about the people that are those library fans that you talked about. And in 2014, I was like thinking about what I was going to get my dad for his birthday, because his birthday is December 9th. And at the same time, I really, really fucking wanted to go to the Florida game, but I live on the other side of the state. So I was like, let me look. And it's like a day before the game, and I'm on the secondary market. And I found tickets for $300 a pop. And I was like, well, fuck it. It's his birthday, whatever. Let's do it. So I get the tickets. It's the lower bowl, but the top row. I ended up being right in line with the free throw line where Baz made the buzzer beater. So I had like the perfect fucking seats. It was amazing. And that game was fucking incredible. The people that sat next to me, so I was in seats 3 and 4. The people that were in seats 1 and 2 on the end, it was an older couple. They were probably like late 50s, whatever. They bought the tickets that day. They paid more than I did. Okay. And I know because I talked to them briefly at the beginning of the game. They legitimately did not stand, did not cheer, didn't do fucking anything the whole game. Whatever, that's, you can't control that. And that's sort of my point, is like, that's always going to be a part of the fan base, right? Especially like, not to throw any shade anywhere, but I notice when I go to games, because, my dad and I are also big fans of the women, there's definitely an older crowd that's there. Right. It just tends to be older, and like, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually love that. I love that. Like, it seems so generational at UConn, but there's about 1 minute and 20 left in that Florida game. And the guy turns to his wife and he goes, all right, we should get out of here and beat the traffic. And I fucking laugh, because it's gotta be a joke. Like, it just has to be. They get up and fucking leave with 1 minute 20 left in that game. And I was flabbergasted. And it took me out of the game for a second. Before that, I was locked in. Like, obviously, I was locked in. For anybody who was at that game, wire to wire, even just watching on TV, obviously. I think Bob Wischusen was on the call, because obviously I record all the games because I'm a nutcase. And if I go to them live, I come back and watch the broadcast so I can see it again. Love Bob Wischusen. He's fucking great. And he was amazing on that call. They get up and fucking leave to beat the traffic. And I'm like losing my fucking mind for all of like 30 seconds. And then the game starts up again, because I think there was like a timeout. Well, Baz hits that game winner. And I'm like, I'm going to, I think it was the South Garage on the way out. And obviously I took a long ass time to get the fuck out of there. I was soaking that in. And it's 2 degrees out. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt and a UConn jersey. Don't feel the cold at all. I'm just literally like skipping through campus, telling my dad that this team is absolutely going to pull a 2011 and win the fucking national championship. True story. Like, nobody would probably fucking believe that too if I didn't have a witness there for that. But like, you will never, ever reach those fans and get them to not do stupid fucking shit like that. And I'm one who, in my younger days, I would shame the fuck out of you if I saw you heading for the exits. Like, I would get up and fucking yell and let you know that you are a total shitbag for leaving early. First of all, you pay for the fucking tickets. Like, why? Like, why? You know, especially when we're good, why the fuck would you leave? And like, I don't do it as much. I have been guilty of it once or twice this year in 239. I kind of expect more out of that crowd. So like, you know, when we're winning big and I go, I'm like, why the fuck are you leaving? And I just, you know, get kind of loud. I don't do it as much anymore. You know, I don't want to like attack anybody in sort of a different thing, but like, you're never going to reach that section of the fan base. And that's okay. Like, that's totally okay. What I think all those kids need to do is just focus on the shit that they can do. And the thing that I actually was talking to Abby about in DMs while you guys were going back and forth is find the community. Where's the community? You know, and obviously we're sort of lucky. I'm lucky I sort of stumbled into this Twitter thing. I stumbled into it during the coaching search for Hurley, because I heard that all the best like and most informed news about it was here. So I just sort of stumbled into it. And then last year I was never really active. And then last year I just decided to do it. And it was the best fucking decision I ever made. So it's like, you find the community, and guess what? If there isn't one, then you go fucking make it. And you just find people that are as rabid as you, and they exist. Obviously they exist. It's 12:37 in the fucking morning. And how many people are still here? How many people do this shit all the time? Right? We're like, there are regulars here that you can see over and again, you know, multiple times a week. You just fucking get involved and you start doing dumb shit and whatever. Like, you just cannot be held back by the librarians or, you know, the people that frown up. Just do whatever the fuck you're going to do and watch it happen. Like, going to the Big East tournament last year, not knowing a single person, by the way, for the first night, like the Friday, I think it was Friday night, I brought my dad, but the first night I went by myself on Thursday, and I met Cody, and Cody and I had never met before. Right? Best fucking decision ever. Like, awesome. Just fucking go. Just go to the games, do the thing, like whatever it is, and just fucking get involved. And that's really all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like, just go out and have fun. You know, don't let other people tell you it's stupid. Don't, because it's stupid. It is stupid. So, like, just be resigned to that. It's absolutely fucking dumb to be
And
up
lean into it
at 12:30 in the morning talking about college basketball for the second time in 2 nights, going on another what looks to be like creeping up on a 3-hour space, 4-hour space again. But like, it is what it is, and do the things that make you happy. And if UConn basketball makes you happy, just be happy about it and go do the things that you want to do, and you want to get more out of the experience more of it, right? And so, you know, that's my biggest thing. Appreciate that, Seabass. Steve, I know we've been kind of neglecting you. I feel bad.
Steve's
well,
been living
actually,
and dying with this Ducks Kings game.
I was going to say HurleyMania is actually quacking at me in DMs right now.
I have to wait. I have the Russ Steinberg. He's quacking. I swear to God, he's quacking. Yeah, no. But yeah, no, Steve, I can hear you fine. If you had anything, go nuts.
Oh, I actually requested to speak before because you were talking about Ice Bus, and I figured I'd just come in and say hi
Okay.
while you were doing that.
Listen, all right.
You couldn't beat a goalie who had mono.
We couldn't beat anybody in the last 3 weeks of the first half, so I mean, you know, whatever. Yeah, we're working on it, Steve. We're working on it.
It's all good.
It's
all good.
I will put out an advertisement. I know Steve is trying to find a Nova ticket that's less than $12,000. If anybody somehow has an extra,
yeah, if y'all got one, let me know.
So, yeah,
Bob crashing over here.
I'm kind of, in a way, stunned how hot that ticket is, HotBalls. Like, I guess I shouldn't be. Maybe it's me not giving the fan base enough credit, but like, it's 16,000 of them, and it's pretty wild. The price is still, even with Nova's struggles.
Even Puneet didn't have a ticket, and I offered to not make fun of him for being a Duke fan for like a month, and he wouldn't go for it.
Well,
yeah, I'm not surprised. It's right after Christmas. Creighton tickets are too expensive. So that's the one that makes sense. It's the easiest for everybody to get to. Can all take your silly little kids. It's the middle of the week on a Wednesday, right? I'm not surprised it's a hot ticket. It's a traditional rivalry. Villanova's always going to have a hot ticket here, even if they suck.
It's probably like a Christmas present sort of thing for a lot of people, but you just hope that, well, if it's half the atmosphere of last year, I mean, God. I'm so excited for everyone's jokes about Dan Hurley coaching the second half. That'll be fun.
Hurley, did you know that when we were at that game last year, the girl who was on the other side of me was actually a Nova fan? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. She was being very quiet.
Yeah, that's why
very quiet.
Yes, very. The stereotype of the Nova fan, not particularly. I'm full 40 is different, but
honestly,
well dressed,
I think
but focused.
She wasn't wearing much Nova paraphernalia. I don't think she had anything on, but was like very not like intentionally being quiet. I think she was kind of scared of letting it be known that she was a Nova fan.
Yeah, HotBalls, you can relate to this. I think we're at the point where this fan base is officially like. I think people like other school fans might be kind of scared about the in-person experience of dealing with these complete hooting wackos that we are.
Yeah, they were very chirpy all off season, so it's pretty funny. I'm kind of a magnet for assholes on Twitter.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
No, I probably have to sift through, not even kidding, like at least 15 direct messages a morning of guys being like, fuck you, you're not that good, blah, 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 I'll fucking find you, blah, blah, whatever. Stick a pipe bomb up your ass, whatever. And so, like, it's been really quiet. So it is what it is. I think with other fan bases, there was definitely an expectation that we wouldn't get back to where we were. Or at least a hope. Let's put it that way.
I think that was wishful thinking on their part.
Yeah, it's very, very, very precious to think that. And if you think it's been tough on us trying to come to terms with like, is this team really this good? Imagine being like a Providence fan.
Yeah, tonight will, in a way, I think will help try and if you were hoping to see them get chirpy like last year again, so that we can enjoy that when it hopefully
apparently there was
them.
We want UConn chant at the dunk tonight. All right.
Well, yeah, they didn't get it last year, so it's nice if they'd like to actually play the game.
If you say so. We wanted to play last year again. Nope, no, you didn't want to do that. So
I'm popping my dunk cherry this year.
Basil, I wish you good luck. By the way, we're starting to see, unfortunately, COVID is creeping a little bit. But this year it's been interesting as it happens this week. The teams that are canceling games are the really bad ones. Like, I don't know if it might be a coincidence, but let me put it this way. Rhode Island COVIDing out of games, not entirely surprising.
I would COVID out the fuck out of games if I was Rhode Island. I'd be getting out of there. Why even play? They're so bad. And they don't have a single piece on that roster. Like, they profoundly suck. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Where are they? 204 on Ken Palm right now.
Yeah, it's it's also like teams aren't doing the testing really. So like I hope they're all okay, obviously, but it's weird to me, when suddenly we're starting to see. I think the VCU women also are going through it. We don't have we have a VCU fan that listens sometimes, but he's not in here. But obviously, you hope that for a million other reasons this doesn't come back. But maybe it's the world we live in now. But yeah, man. God, we got to go 8 days now. HotBalls. I mean, what?
It sucks.
Literally,
I really
Christmas.
do. I fuck Christmas, fuck Kwanzaa, fuck Hanukkah, fuck holidays, and and all this shit. Like, I want basketball games. That's what I want. Fuck exams, all of it.
I love that your official position is fuck. Like, Christmas is coming. You're like, no, fuck it. I want to see us play Manhattan.
Yeah.
Steve, what were you going to say? I think it was you.
I was going to say, we're bullshitting at this point. Did I tell you the story of how I worked out with the Indiana basketball team 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, you did. it actually kind of gave me insight into their struggles. Hot Balls will enjoy this. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, so
tell.
I was at a conference 2 weeks ago out in Las Vegas, and I was at the MGM Grand, and I'm using their gym right before it closes one night, and this dude walks in wearing an Indiana shirt. I'm just thinking like, all right, well, he's a fan, he's staying here, whatever, because I knew they were playing Arizona the next day, and he starts setting up these weights all over the weight room. I'm like, wait, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, he's not actually working out. He's just like taking weights and putting them down in like these various sections. What the fuck is this guy doing? 5 minutes later, this tall dude walks in an Indiana shirt. I'm like, oh my God, I know what's about to happen. The whole fucking team walks in. Mind you, this weight room is maybe 1,000 square feet. It is tiny. And here is 14 basketball players all going through this circuit workout that they got to do after they just got off the plane into Las Vegas. They are hooting and hollering as they are lifting their weights. And mind you, that team does not pass the airport test. Those dudes are tiny as fuck. Like, Trace Jackson Davis is standing behind me, and I'm looking at him like, you can't be more than 6'5", dude. He doesn't look it. They do not pass that test. I could, if they were not wearing Indiana basketball shirts, I would not have thought that they were
not impressing you at the airport.
Not at all. I was shocked at how small they were, and not one of them could properly lift the weight. Not one of them. So when they got bullied out of the gym by Arizona, was
in Kansas.
Well, yeah, that too. But
yeah, ever since you told me that story, the next 2 games, I was like, this all makes sense. This all, you know, and I still like a lot of their pieces, but yeah, physically, just to watch look, if they want to be at the top end, Arizona and Kansas, those are tests, and they just were not really remotely competitive in either of them. And like tonight, they beat the crap out of Elon tonight, which is one of the 20 worst teams in the country. Like, who gives it? Doesn't their fan base is already like kind of in panic mode, and I can understand why.
I mean, if you saw those guys up close, I was sitting there saying to myself, like, I think Adama is wider than 2 of these guys standing next to each other.
No, Adama's a big boy. Like, Adama's a really big boy. In person. Charles Barkley was an enormous human being as well. I met him in the gym.
Just that. I just want that fragment. I met Charles Barkley.
Did I ever tell that? Did I ever tell that story on here? I must have.
I don't remember it.
So I don't remember it.
Now you've said
it. All right. This is perfect for 1 o'clock in the morning. I played one-on-one with Charles Barkley.
Oh God.
This was like 2011, 2012. You know what?
It was like recent-ish?
It was like 2011, 2012. Yeah. So this guy, during Hall of Fame induction weekend, all these guys, this is before they kind of moved everything to Mohegan Sun and doing all that shit. So like during Hall of Fame induction weekend, you know, all these guys come up, right? And some of them get there a little earlier than some of the other ones because they're involved with whatever fucking nonsense is going on, right? So the Picknelly family, who own the Peter Pan Bus Company and Greyhound now, they own Monarch Place there and the Sheraton Hotel in Springfield that are kind of attached to each other right behind Symphony Hall where they have the induction ceremony, right? So it's kind of a funny hotel, man. It is like the ultimate tribute to like the late 80s, early 90s. So they have this gym. And I mean, when I say throwback, it's like something out of Big Trouble from Little China. There's like the neon, like script on the wall and everything in there. Like you go to like the little protein shake bar and like it's got the whole neon lettering thing in there. It all still works. So a buddy of mine that I'd gone to Springfield College with had started up his own personal training business, right? And didn't really have a home base and had kind of known these guys because he used to play music and a lot of the bars and restaurants they were kind of partners with. And they said, well, look, you know, we don't really have an official guy for the hotel. We don't really want to hire you to do it.
But if you want to run your own shop out of there, like we got a little office space and you can use our gym, right? Like we don't have any problem with that. That's going to get people to want to come there. And, you know, if you've got clients in the office tower, even better, right? Because maybe they'll be a little bit more likely to use this gym that, you know, very few of our guests use. And so like, I used to go in there and he used to work me out and stuff. He actually had some pretty interesting clients, like Gabriel Gonzaga, the UFC fighter, is from Ludlow. And so Jesse did like all strength and conditioning with him in there, and a whole bunch of other shit. Well, in this shitty gym, believe it or not, are these like 2 old squash courts, right? And nobody obviously uses them at all, right? So Jesse kind of just took it upon himself to kind of like move in there, right? And so he has one that was like all spread out and there's all sorts of shit that you can do in there. But then he moved a basketball hoop into one just for his own kind of amusement, right? And he could shoot hoops and do whatever. And they didn't seem to care. So he just kind of fucking threw it in there. So one day, I am in the gym at the Sheraton and I walk in and who's on the Stairmaster but Charles Barkley. And, you know, he's there for Hall of Fame weekend. He was there like on a Wednesday. He had gotten in the night before or whatever. And so, you know, Jesse's like, you know, it's basically like me, Jesse, my trainer, Charles Barkley, and like 2 randos in there. So it's like nobody in the gym. And so this is like middle of the afternoon, like 2, 3 o'clock. So low traffic, whatever. And so I'm doing my thing. And Jesse's like, well, why don't we go down to the squash court and, you know, shoot around a little bit. And Barkley's on the fucking Stairmaster and says something under his breath. He goes, bet that's going to look ugly. Right? As I'm walking by, just being a dick. So I was like, fuck it, it's Charles Barkley. And I was like, I don't know, fucking, you want to come take a few shots? I'm like, come on, let's do a little one-on-one, best of 3. I won't bug you any more than that. So he's like, yeah, man, I'll come down. It lasted at least 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The most powerful human being I've ever felt in my life. Like, I can't even describe, you know, like, because it's one of those things, like, you play basketball growing up and you can kind of feel what it's like to, like, bang around with guys a little bit stronger than you, but, like, you don't know what it's like to get in there with somebody that's, like, you're just helpless against. Like, there's nothing I could do. All I did was just fucking back into my fat ass and, like, literally, like, ground me into the wall. Fucking, it was just terrible. I just went right back to the thing.
I love thinking he's going back to the Stairmaster and his breath goes, still got it. you were his little,
I talk shit the whole
reassurance.
time. I talk shit the whole time. You got to shoot your shot, right? Like, why not? Who the fuck? What is he going to say? I mean, let's just say, no, go fuck yourself. And then I'm not going to go and I'm going to shoot by myself and not think anything of it. And then my story would have been, remember the time that I got Charles Barkley to tell me I got to go fuck myself, right? Like, instead it's down there. And my personal trainer's just dying the whole time. He's like, back him in. He's like, fucking kill him. He didn't. It was the most. I couldn't do anything. I mean, I had the ball for like, I don't know, maybe a combined 20 seconds. Like, I couldn't do anything. He's just enormous. I was like, and I'm not a tiny guy. Like, I've got some size to me. So, like, it was wild, man. I've never felt anything like that. Like, it was wild.
Have you been consulting with said personal trainer in anticipation of next Wednesday?
No, I have not. No, I haven't been there in probably 8 years. But that same gym is actually where because I didn't go to the Big East tournament that year. That was the one year I didn't go because my wife was like due any day. So like, Abby is actually my daughter is born on the 13th of March. So.
Stunning lack of planning from you on that regard.
Tough time of year.
I'm really surprised.
Celebrate his birthday. So
I feel like you're the kind of guy that'd be like, no, wait, hold on, we can't. I gotta. You'd be planning it out, like you'd be checking future regional dates or something.
My daughter checks it now. She's like, oh my god. She's like, she gets worried about it. Not that I'm not going to be there, but she's like. I have like one thing in my life that I look forward to probably more than anything. And my family is surprisingly sympathetic to my Big East tournament yearning every year. But this year it's the 8th to the 12th. So I'm out of there right before the 13th, which is her birthday. So I mean, I'll be nuclear waste by her birthday, but I will be there.
They're propping Dad up in the corner. He's home.
Just down there with my UConn Big East Tournament Champions T-shirt on.
On top of a disgusting, unwashed in 7 months pullover.
Oh man, but yeah, man, that's my one-on-one Charles Barkley thing. I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not scared of celebrities or important people at all. Fuck them. You know,
wow,
keep you listening. So I figure why not? But yeah, it was nice. As non-competitive as you think it would be.
You get a great story out of it.
I'm gonna see if I get when we get down to Houston. I'm gonna see if I can get round 2. I didn't hear no bell.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. Doster hasn't got the fuck. Doster's the kind of guy, man. He'll call fouls and one-on-one and shit. I can already see it.
Yeah, I gotta pull some strings. I gotta get my rematch, Charles Barkley, at some point. I didn't hear no bell.
Love it. Well, my battery's going. So
my battery went a long time ago.
Oh, fair enough. But I want to shout out Mantrain88 who's listening, who was completely engaged by the entire steak discussion that he somehow stumbled in here and has just been listening the entire time. And as he tweeted, he's now like prepared to be in every space. So I don't know what algorithm leads people into whatever we do, but it seems like a lot of people like it. So happy to have more folks on board. And we will have a kind of a I don't know what Secret Santa-y sort of show at some point here. HotBalls will probably do it Christmas morning, but
yeah, I mean, I don't really want to celebrate the holidays. It's basketball season. It's not appropriate time to do that in my book. So, no, I'm trying to think of how we're gonna do this, because I think number one, before the end of the week, maybe Thursday night, Friday night later on might make sense. I had to do some Christmas shopping Friday night. Actually, speaking of basketball hoops, I have to go get my youngest a new basketball hoop. That's what she wants for Christmas. So my youngest is a really good little basketball player. So she's like hook, line, and sinker into it. So I am going to capitalize while we're doing that. So I got to go out and get that on Friday night. But maybe we do it when I come back. Maybe we do it Thursday night. Saturday's Christmas Eve, right?
Saturday's Christmas Eve. I'm imagining HotBalls after being completely terrified of dealing with the Christmas crowd at the mall. Doing something that isn't UConn basketball. You could be in rare form after dealing with that.
Yeah, no. So I went out Christmas shopping on Sunday. You know how long it lasted?
28 minutes.
35.
Okay. Huh?
I went to Dick's. I bought a couple of things, and I instantly got mad in the parking lot, so I went home. I hate all these people, man. I hate all the sheeple. I don't. It's terrible.
My wife and I have to do some shopping Thursday, and the whole time I'm gonna be thinking, I'm like, I just want to be at a basketball game. Like, this is bullshit.
But we got to figure out the UConn football space. We have to do this.
Yes.
Fucked up the other night, so we got to give them their due. Maybe we get a couple guys on here that are getting out of here because Coach Mora can't yell at them anymore, and just let them tee off on some of us. That would be funny. And then I think we need to do a very Big East Christmas party.
Yeah, with the whole league though, like that.
Yeah, no, we got to get Degenerate in here. Like we got to get JP. We got to get Full 40. And I think we should do like almost like a Secret Santa. Like you got to say, well, I'll draw it out a hat, and you got to say something nice about another person's program. We could do something like that.
I'm a little concerned if we, how do I put this? Like, can we bring the St. John's people in, but the condition is they aren't allowed to scream at each other?
That's kind of the world. Well, TJ would probably be okay, I would imagine, but some of the other ones might yell at each other. That's true. They'd probably get in a fight. And Georgetown guys would probably get fucking depressed again and try to make it all about them. And
you know how I know how that space has to end. It has to end with John Fanta joining us and doing the 12 Days of Christmas reading.
Yeah, Fanta Claus. Fanta Claus has to come out, and he's got to hand out. That's what I'll DM Fanta, and we'll see if we can get Fanta to come in. We'll do like a Secret Santa, except instead of gifts, because we can't do gifts, right? that we do like you gotta say something nice about somebody else's program in the Big East, right? Like you gotta say something nice. Maybe it's like Valentine's instead of Christmas. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of shit we could do. We could get creative. So maybe we should start a direct message, come up with something fun. The Paul guys are going to be angry. Fucking Georgetown's going to be depressed. St. John's going to be fighting with each other.
Cody's going to be fighting himself.
I don't know. It's going to be a different time. So we got to schedule both those. I'm thinking maybe like a Boxing Day would work or something like that. Boxing Day, Big East Boxing Day Spectacular.
Sure. Timing could be a little tough for me Boxing Day, but we'll make it work.
Wow, nobody gives a shit about your personal life.
I know. I said I'd make it
on
work.
a fucking shelf because nobody cares. Like, this is your life now.
It is. It really is. It is. And I'm happy to share it with all of you. But yeah, Georgetown, it was more of a game than we expected, but I think we learned the team can handle the first punch so far. So we keep rolling, and boy, our next we have 2 more space. HotBalls is just trying to do more spaces to not acknowledge that his next space might possibly be after getting booed by 15,000 people. Like that's the next game. Mary's gonna be there, which is awesome. Mary, who might actually just camp out on Trumbull Street for the next 7 days.
Mary's very excited about going to the game.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. We're basically in that like space that no pun intended, that we've been talking about for like months. Like the Nova Creighton time of year is basically upon us now. It's kind of wild. Like I'm wondering how we're going to approach February, but we'll have new windmills to tilt at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the next 2.5 weeks are going to be war, you know, and people are going to get hurt. People are going to cut open. Some people might die. All right. But we'll make it through. We got a little bit of a let off in February. Won't be as intense, although we could probably find a way to make it that. But yeah, man, like I'm excited. The chaos begins a week from now. We just need to figure out how to bridge the gap, cancel a couple holidays, and we'll be in good shape.
I think we're just going to space our way through it. It seems nobody's going to see their families. My beautiful wife's going to divorce me, and honestly, she'll have a case at this rate with these spaces. Yeah, we'll make it work, and of course, a happy holidays to all of you.
Mallory just tweeted me. She goes, instead of Elf on a Shelf, could we do accessories on Curbelo? Ooh.
You and me both, Hurley.
Curbelo on a pillow.
You and me both, Hurley. My wife, like, I yelled earlier, and she was, like, half asleep. And
we all heard.
Was that the shut the fuck up?
Yeah, she said shut the fuck up and left the room, and she hasn't spoken to me since. So I hope everything's okay tomorrow when I wake up. Or actually, I hope I wake up. That's all I'll say.
Fair. Yeah, my wife's actually okay with all this, and she supports it. But I'm like, come on, what's the catch? You can't. This is idiotic what we're doing, but I love it. But yeah, no, I in a DM it was brought up the shut the fuck up. So I'm glad we got some closure. I'm wishing you well there, Basil. That was probably my moment of the space, actually.
I mean, I can't control myself sometimes. I get too crazy. I get too excited.
The first time UConn is kind of semi-challenged. Everyone's losing their minds. Still won by 11.
And I live in a condo complex, so I hope I didn't wake up my neighbor.
Oh, see, HOA. You're getting a sternly worded note.
Yep, but they'll understand once I tell them why it happened.
See, there's this thing called Spaces on Twitter, and there's this guy named HotBalls. See, and I'm sure it'll go really well for you from that moment on.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's time to cut it. What the fuck? Why not? Actually, I want to see where we're at for time because we almost hit 5 hours the other night, and I hit 7 minutes before.
You were mad.
Would have been a record. You know, I was really pissed that I pulled the plug when I did. I wish they would have like a little timing gimmick on here. Is there any like a timer? In the future, I'm just going to have to just run one.
Hot balls. Next time I got you with a timer.
Yeah.
You started
maybe
around
yours-
9:15, so you're probably at like 3 hours, 50 minutes or something like that.
10:15, 11:15 is 2, 12:15. I'm like a 4. A 4. We're probably about right.
I love how we're opposites. Hot balls wants it longer, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we just did 4 hours. But yeah, no, the record should be the Big East one. By the way, that would, when you get all that many idiots in one place. I mean, Jesus, that could be Live Aid. Like that's. We'll make that work.
Could be bad. We'll figure it out. Look at you, troopers. Look at Dave Benedict still hanging out in here at 1 o'clock.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Dave.
Nuts.
Husky report lets me know it was 9:17 was the start.
9:17. Wow. No, he's not just keeping track or anything like that. All right. Well, it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody for hanging out yet again. Stay tuned. We'll come up with the football space. Figure that out. We're going to ban basketball talk for one. Oh, that's probably not going to happen. We'll be really bad at that. But really want to try to keep football centric so those guys get the spaces send off that they deserve. And I'll get together with the rest of the Big East Brain Trust, see what nonsense that we can come up with, and maybe do a very special holiday craptacular with the rest of the peons on this stupid application. So, guys, again, as always, wanted to thank you guys for hanging out with us for as long as you do. We will look forward to seeing you guys a little bit later this week at a time to be determined. But until then, as always, keep in touch with yourselves. Good night.